don't see no Indians that you guys are cast. Hey, we're stream sharing over on SSJK.Sanctum, and we're talking about the dwarfs. I don't see a diverse
over here, guys.
I don't see a diverse group of casting or leads. Not often, right? It's very rarely you'll get a movie like The Creator, which is out right now, featuring John David Washington. It's a black lead. They spent
But
a lot of
this
money on them.
movie
I'm
originally
not done
came out
talking,
in the
Michael.
20s, though. They were all white. Like, I mean, you can't.
You're right. I'm not done talking. The point though, the budget's there for The Creator, and that's cool. Shit, I lost my train of thought. It's just that when I asked the studios, where are your black movies, they're gonna say, oh no, we definitely got some supporting characters in Snow White. We covered Latino because we have a Latina lead. Go check out this movie here. And then also in Captain Marvel 2, we diversified it. Look, we also got these characters up in there and their supporting character roles. And then we also race swapped a couple people here. Look, Kang the Conqueror. So we got black representation. And I'm like, okay, you in your adaptations, if the characters are white that from the beginning, just because this year Little Mermaid was played by Halle Bailey, it doesn't mean that you introduced a black franchise. You just got Halle Bailey to fulfill a role that was already going to be fulfilled, and the studio gets away with saying we're being black enough. And I take issue with that. Long term, it is a problem. The underrepresentation issue is a long term issue, and the solution needs to be long term, not these band-aid temporary fixes, which aren't actually fixing anything. It pleases people for the moment. This year on Twitter, everyone's going to be happy. Little Mermaid. Let's just say they do Snow White next year. Everyone's going to be happy. Latina princess. Hooray. And I'm like, no, those are not the solutions. What we got with Wish, did you see that trailer, Mike? For Wish?
No.
Well, it's the solution that I'm looking for. Did you see it, Scotty?
No. What's Wish? What is this?
Oh, man.
Wait, you were upset about the poster, though. What'd they do with the poster? Like, what is the main character?
The main character, she looks like she's a black girl. She's got lighter skin. She's got my skin tone, I would say. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but she looked like mine, not as dark as Kate.
Honestly, she looks like she can be. She looks a little too ambiguous. Like she looks like she can be either Native. Like I'll be honest, she looks like she can be Native American, which isn't bad. So like she can be Native. She might be Blasian. She also looks like she might be Indian. Right, not American Indian, Asian Indian,
proper Indian.
Yeah,
I got you. Yeah, I think I can see that. I can see that, but the skin tone is darker than what Scotty has and what Mike has. So that was what I see positively. And when we think about how, well, we got to worry about the casting that they're going to do 20 years when they make the live action adaptation, and we'll get an answer of what exactly is she supposed to be, because she's so ambiguous, right? Maybe they get the Rock's daughter to play her or something.
So, but why? Like, well, first of all, I mean, okay. Well, how do you classify the Wiz?
That's a stand-in temporary representation. The Wizard of Oz, Dorothy. We know her to be a white character. Just because you got someone playing it here, it doesn't. Like, I would have preferred those same resources, paying Brandy all that money, given who was the princess? Diana Ross.
Yeah, Diana Ross.
Diana Ross. I said Brandy?
Yeah, Diana Ross, Michael Jackson, Nipsey Russell, Ted Ross.
You know what I was thinking about, right?
Richard Pryor.
Okay, yeah. Sorry about that. I was thinking of Cinderella Brandy. My point is just that when I think of that movie, if what you're asking me, I'm looking at temporary. If Michael Jackson and everyone put their money behind an actual character who's always going to look the way Diana Ross looks, money. That's what I'm talking about. That's the solution to the world. And we would have that would have been already readapted by the time we get to 2023.
We'll see, but speaking of somebody who grew up on both The Wizard of Oz and The Wiz, those are two separate things for me. I didn't say, oh, this is the Black Wizard of Oz. That was just The Wiz. No, it's The Wiz. It's the stories that The Wiz, to me, first of all, I think it's a better musical than The Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz is good too, but I mean, it's a product of its time. And I mean, I guess you could say The Wiz is too, because the way the set, it took place in New York, it was very urbanized. And I don't mean urban as in black. I mean urbanized as like, the city in New York, because like that was also an aspect of the movie too. So that's what made it different. And I know how you always talk about how in comic books, when you're doing representation, it would be good to have, like, say, Al Ewing or, Jason Aaron or whatever. This one they had
top creators. Yeah.
This one they had Sidney Lumet, who does high dramas. Like I think he did Dog Day Afternoon. He's like a top filmmaker. They had him direct it, and he's also a white dude too. They had him direct the movie, and it was outstanding. But I don't see it as like this is also, I think, part of the problem too, where if you're gonna keep micro analyzing everything, I don't think anything will ever be good. And I'm not talking about the like MSK like saying the surface level stuff. I'm talking about like if you micro analyze everything, you're eventually gonna find something that you're like, yeah, well, you should have done this instead.
You're sort of right about that, but what I'm talking about is surface level, and it's happens so often, and there's a pattern. There's a pattern of adaptations changing the race of the person, and
but
here now enjoying.
If they keep using these adaptations, if they keep using these stories, like up until I don't know what, the 60s, 50s, like I mean, the stories were all like they were
You're right, Mike, and keep them white. But as a studio, you guys do 12 movies a year, so Snow White being played by Rachel Zegler isn't the solution I'm looking for. Cast Rachel Zegler, pay her the same amount, but make her be in a movie where she sings original songs that have nothing to do with Snow White, and she just owns the role of this new character. And then years from now, that Rachel Zegler character is going to be played by another actress. That's the solution to it.
What you got to do is, and honestly, Star Wars is the best example I can use.
Oh, Star Wars is a great example. Go ahead.
When people think of Luke Skywalker and see Luke Skywalker, they also see Mark Hamill, and that definitely helped out Mark Hamill career for the rest of his life, because there's no one else you would put behind the face of Luke Skywalker. I'm not going to put Brad Pitt's face behind it. That Mark Hamill is Luke Skywalker, right? Mm-hmm. And if you put Rachel Zegler in a role where
as Luke Skywalker,
Lady Luke, if you put her in a role that's so stand out and does so good, and this is like an original, new, different character, and she could potentially be like that. Toys selling for years and stuff. You see Rachel Zegler's face constantly over and over again. It also helps her career too, in a way. And people will recognize, okay, this is Rachel Zegler, right? That's where you're gonna get that bleed through between the actor and the character. Like it's no longer just the character, it's the actor and the character together.
Yeah, we can get there. Yeah.
I'm not saying it's guaranteed. I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but what I'm saying is that has really helped out people like Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher. Like when we see Leia, we think of Carrie Fisher.
Sure.
Don't think of nobody else. And that's what you
kind of imagine though where John Boyega would be right now. Like if the storyline actually played out where he was revealed to have force powers like they were originally going to do, and like whatever the fuck happened with backing out of that.
Mm-hmm. No, Matt Cave told me to watch the Lego movie where he has force powers.
But Lego doesn't everybody have?
And look, Scotty's not wrong, because like, go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
No, he's just insulting everything. Ignore him. Doesn't everybody?
And look,
in Ahsoka, it is revealed that everybody can access the Force.
Yes.
What are you talking about? I'm not insulting anything. I'm honoring the material.
I'm just mentioning that, like, they actually filmed scenes where Tom Boyega was telling her he had Force, and just imagine where his, career would have been elevated to. That would have been a part of the franchise that people were like not upset about. You know what I mean?
Who do you think was the one that actually said, "Hey, you know what? We're not going to use that"? Who made that decision? Who made that call?
Who knows? Chinese.
Who knows?
It's Chinese.
I honestly think mainly it was Ryan, because Ryan did write and direct The Last Jedi, because he basically took a lot of JJ's treatment and stuff. And
so that happened in The Last Jedi. The John Boyega.
Yeah,
stuff?
I mean, well, once they changed the trajectory, trajectory of the story,
the amount of time that you have to tell a specific story and then include all this other stuff when there's not even a guarantee of a spinoff or anything like that happening, or future, call them the sequel movies, 11, 12, 13. But yeah.
I mean,
can I bring up a random? Because this shit, like, these streaming channels do stuff like this all the time. I'm very curious your thoughts on adaptations like Sneakerella, where it's literally like sneaker icon as like the sneaker icon is the king of the kingdom, and his daughter like glass slipper shit. That's on Disney Plus, bro. Like this is what they're doing on streaming. They're taking Cinderella, turning this shit into Sneakerella, and it's a sneaker icon, and it's like supposed to like that demographic is supposed to be what like who's that shit's appealing to, right?
Well,
like
sneaker
that shit.
fans.
Sure, but it like it doesn't seem like that's the only demographic that they're trying to fucking.
Scotty, I saw a grown man. There was a skit on the Daily Show where they went to like a sneaker convention, and I guess he took, I don't know what it. I imagine it was almost like an Amazing Fantasy number 15. That's the only way I can equate it. But he had a sneaker in his hand, and he started like twisting it a little, and there were like grown ass men staring at him with like tears in their eyes, and I'm like.
I don't that shit into Cinderella, bro. Like,
but there's like a fetish, I guess with that or stuff, like, you know.
Well, how's that different than the Wiz? How is Sneakerella?
That's what I'm saying. It's like that is not a good representation of what.
Compared to the Wiz.
I'm using it as an example of the bullshit that they're giving us. Like,
well, no, because
that is not
because it's the shoe. The shoe is just in sneaker in place of the glass slipper, like
exactly. You know? It's a 1-to-1 copy of the original story. So how is this How is this Snow White or what this actress is trying to push being any different? It's a different audience, yes, but like I don't know, man. They're taking such bold choices to appeal to the most niche of audiences sometimes for me. Rather than a general,
well, see, but public. Like you said, though, it is on streaming. So what happens on you just throw a bunch of stuff on streaming, and it different stuff for
like who people. Asked for it. I guess is what I'm.
Yeah, there could be a better
for Sneakerella,
but it's under parody for me. I'm sort of looking at that like that's probably.
Do you put different. Wiz under parody?
Huh?
Watch it.
Not like look. I'm not a huge. Well, I'll be honest.
It's not the original story.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of either. But if you compare the Wiz to Sneakerella, the Wiz is a more, I would say, proper and respectful adaptation of something. And even if you're trying to represent people, it's just done in a way. It's just done in a better manner. Like Sneakerella, like that's like Sneakerella is what you would have got if this writer strike didn't end up finishing, and these studios got like, dang, we need some content.
That's what I'm saying. Like the respect, like
that's what that's what Sneakerella is.
It's like, are you giving enough respect to the original IP as well as trying to evolve it somehow, or are you just trying to catch a buck? Like I feel like a lot of times they're just trying to
look at Scotty. Have you seen Hamilton?
I loved it.
I would look at the Wiz as like Hamilton, right? Like Hamilton, we know the people.
The Wiz definitely elevates the story, and I agree. Like Mike was saying, it's a better telling of that.
Even though the Hamilton is based off of real thing, it's like depicting something.
You're saying the Wiz wasn't real,
but
it's the entertainment value for me.
But it's misrepresentation and it's casting, and it allows Disney Plus to say we put Hamilton on our service, which casted a whole bunch of diverse people, and we're satisfying our quota. And I'm like, where are your black franchises? You're telling
now they're all voice actors and all our other animated stuff, but like put them in things. I agree. Like
Elemental was a voice actor. They had a diverse cast for Elemental, but they were hidden behind people who are either water, fire, earth, or wind.
All of the cast of Hamilton are also all voice actors in Ariel, in the new Little Mermaid. So they're playing Sebastian. They're playing the Flounder. Like they're all in that. So
you see what I mean? Like it's not a solution to me. It's part of the problem because not individually within that franchise, within that movie or TV show. But when we take a look back and ask the studio, what did you do this year? They get to say, we did. Look at us. We're so pro you. And I'm like, you're not introducing new. Does that need to be repeated again, K-Dot and Mike? You're not introducing new franchises, and that's the problem.
Well, yeah, because they're afraid to take chances.
Take chances, make mistakes,
money on
and
that
get
stuff.
messy.
They feel that these...
Isn't it so crazy how you get those chances in Pixar and they always are fire? Like even the Red Panda movie, like the movie about the girl who's like when she got super emotional, she turned into a red panda. That was so Asian culture like centric, and It's fire.
That was
Fire.
Toronto culture too. That was very Toronto. Like you don't even understand how many of the Easter eggs and things I didn't even think about. I was watching the garbage. Yeah, it was to the date. Like it was like think 2006, and it brought me back about 20 years just to reminding myself what everything looked like in the city. It was amazing for that.
Yeah, so like where is that kind of stuff in live action? You know what I mean?
DCU is the next topic here. I'm gonna go to K-Dot. K-Dot, James Gunn said something. He said the word canon, 5-letter word, starts with a C, ends with an N. He just finally let us know with no hesitation.
He's been saying it.
No. He's been saying it here and there. He's been wishy-washy with it. Hi, MSK. But now,
okay, I'm have to disagree because he already look. I will say this because I did do the video on it and I criticized him on it. I think when he
Rumble.
Oh, what's up?
He said to MSK, "This isn't Rumble."
I think when he explained the slate, right? To me, I understood it, but I even said when me and Nerdman and I think Anzo, I think Mike was there too, and we all reacted to it live. I said that he should have labeled that old stuff before Creature Commandos as DCEU because that's what because when he was saying DCU and he's calling the new universe DCU, I'm assuming so like he's kind of keeping everything but gonna like soft reboot in a way.
He wouldn't say that though because the Flash hadn't happened yet. Aquaman or whichever Shazam hasn't happened yet. There was a lot of movies yet didn't release yet, and he didn't want to really crush your dreams.
He's not allowed to say anything that is going to take away from
I mean, look. I'll be honest. I would have said it because it's like
I would have
because the universe is going to die anyways. Like whatever money they was going to make. Yeah. I mean, cool. You know, look, Warner Brothers made some money back with Barbie. They made some money back with Mortal Kombat that just came out. Like they have other ways of still making money, even if their other DCEU stuff failed due to having a bad track record connected to it. But everything James Gunn has been saying has been consistent because Gods and Monster is the start of the new universe. That is the new universe. Look at Gods and Monster Chapter 1. He said Creature Commandos begins it in the video, and he says it again here. It's just funny to me how people are not understanding this simple concept. Like, everything before is not canon, and starting Creature Commandos, that's where the canon begins.
Except we're keeping consistencies. We're gonna keep Sholo and Amanda Waller's coming and John Cena. Those three staying is the big head scratcher, which is gonna complicate things to a couple of people. Yeah, you know what? I can understand. I will. Have
I don't understand why people are so resistant.
Well, all right. Look
why are they?
Look at it. Look at it like this. Look at it like this. Because I freaking was trying to scramble MSK's brain about this yesterday when we were doing an interview. Bumblebee and Transformers: Rise of the Beast. Those are reboots of the prior Michael Bay universe, right?
Yes.
Now they're using Optimus Prime again. You always got to use Optimus Prime Transformers, obviously. But the only thing different.
Wait. Wasn't that a prelude? That wasn't a reboot. That was a prelude.
No, it was a reboot.
It rebooted the last.
They when they came out with Bumblebee, they didn't know if they wanted a reboot or soft reboot, so they left it open ended until the movie.
Which is such BS, which is such a non-committing thing. It's not storytelling. It's just accidentally.
I agree.
What are we? We're stumbling in the dark.
I don't disagree, but this is the thing. They're using Optimus Prime again. The only thing different, I would say, is his design, right? But it's still the same voice actor, still Optimus Prime. And they're using him again for this new universe. Now, what I think he should do is slightly alter Amanda Waller, Peacemaker, and Blue Beetle. Slightly change their suits.
With a
haircut, slight alterations. Or
he wrote that. He wrote all those characters. I don't think they're going to change at all.
If Peacemaker season 1 is not going to be canon, his backstory is going to be altered. But I think he's still going to have.
I think it's all canon.
Where does Peacekeeper even show up in this DCU? None of the projects that he's given us, those 10 projects, they're not places.
Bro, he could literally show up in the Superman movie. James Gunn has said that the Superman Legacy movie that comes out is going to introduce all of these other characters. You might even see the Authority roll through.
In what way, though? The Superman flies to the Watchtower.
Okay, no.
Hey,
so
Mr. Terrific.
Hey, all rumor. All rumor. But the plot of the film is a world crisis. Superman has his moral opinion on it, and there's other groups of superheroes in existence that have different opinions on how they should handle the situation. So it ultimately comes down to the choices that Superman makes, and that is what shapes his character.
Why is
That is all rumor of what I've heard.
Why is all of this a problem though? Like there's one of the dudes I play Fortnite with. He was talking about like when he talks about things, he always brings up how much money was spent. And it's like, okay, like, are you paying any of this money? Is any of this money yours? What does it matter how much money these studios spend? What should matter to you is the content. Is the story good? Is the acting good? Whatever. Who cares how much money is spent? Like nowadays, like all of this shit with like people, like back in the day, you would not know how much money a movie made. Okay. There are kids today that can tell you how much a movie made domestically and international and break it down by zones. Okay, this is ridiculous. It doesn't matter.
Meaningful. You do got to know some of that stuff.
Unless you have an investment in the stuff, yes, you do.
As fans, we're invested in seeing the next and the next and the next. Now, if these movies don't make enough money to warrant spending the large budgets on them, we're gonna lose out.
But I agree with what he's saying. Like when this information wasn't so easily accessible, this is not the conversations that fans were having. Like, oh, Andor had a 250,000 or 200 whatever budget. That's why it was better than Ahsoka. I told you. Like, people weren't debating that stuff 10 years ago.
It was longer.
Okay. So we know as fans, since we're fans, we know that the DC, the Zack Snyder DC and all that stuff, done. It's done. That's it. So you know what? When Peacemaker shows up, that's part of this new universe. It has nothing to do with that because we as fans, being forward-thinking individuals who can actually read things and translate and know what he's saying, then we know that that's totally something separate. Whether it's Viola Davis playing, whether it's Viola Davis playing things, or whether it's John Cena or Jolo, it doesn't matter. That is what it is. Like I don't, and he also I tried to find it. I don't know where he said this, but he said something like, because somebody was like asking if it was acting as if it was a chore to do that, to like watch this stuff, or like people complaining about Shazam. Oh well, why am I going to watch this movie? It doesn't matter. Well, what do you mean it doesn't matter? It's a movie. If you go and watch it and you get enjoyment out of it, it matters. Like it's stupid.
It sounds like it sounds like to me that he's going to be treating it like the Star Wars extended universe and how Dave Filoni treats all of that material. Like, it's not going to directly relate to those past films, but we're going to get a shit ton of Easter eggs. We're going to get we might even get tie-ins to past events.
Tie-ins in what way? How tie-in?
I mean, anything that would like. So it can't be like I don't know. It can't be direct universe based, but an Easter egg about how a previous Superman handled something, a direct callback to a Henry Cavill like cinematography. Like, you're gonna get all of that. It doesn't mean that he's calling back to that as a canon event. I don't know.
Some people are gonna tell him.
But after what happened in the Flash, you think he's really gonna do that like right away?
Oh no, not even Flash. So Flash is just canon to the DCEU.
No. I'm talking about all this stuff about canon stuff and.
Did we have this debate when Snyder showed up and it was like?
I know. What are they gonna do with Christopher Reeve? Like, what's gonna happen?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, no.
When Snyder showed up, the Chris Nolan, that Batman stuff, that was all done, and we understood that would be it. Brandon Routh had nothing to do with it. It was a hard reboot. Here, for the sake of Amanda Waller, John Cena, and the Blue Beetle.
Wait. How is that understood?
Because I don't understood because it was never had to be explained. There was never quotes like James Gunn over here.
Then they directly connected Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck.
But the Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck were the same universe. It would be Bale. So Bale's Batman is allowed to be Batman by himself, no hints at any of the Justice League or any of that, because they never tried to go that way. You're right.
And fans just accept it. Why are we not questioning? Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. It's like, why don't people freak out and like, where is the Superman in that universe? Why are we all coming down on like what James Gunn's trying to do? Let him build that shit out.
It is exactly this, because I'm kind of glad I was born in '99. we grew up with these movies that at a time we was deprived of universes and stuff, you know, because all these different characters was, you know, with different companies, like especially Marvel. And a lot of people now, especially when MCU started, they grew up with superhero universes, right? And
Team
I don't
ups,
think
yeah.
I don't, and even whether you grew up in it or not, I still think it's like unfair to not allow, like, okay, for a Batman project to want to do something solo. Like that's what Matt Reeves is doing. You know, we wonder what a Superman is doing. It's not about Superman, but I do wonder, right? But I'm not gonna say, Matt Reeves, why are you not showing the Superman, Wonder Woman, and all that in your freaking Batman movies, man? Where's the Justice League? Like, it's about the Batman.
And we understand that, and we get it. And the Batman shouldn't be happening right now, but I guess that contract was already signed before James Gunn and Peter Safran started this DC Studios.
And what about the Joker?
Of course, you MCU fan want Batman.
That too. Look, he's right. The Joker also was here, and I would say I don't want it to happen.
$1 billion. That's why
I know. And then Joaquin Phoenix even said he was done with it, even before the billion. But whatever he's getting paid to do the sequel made him change his mind and
hey,
say,
man, that money talks. They do that money in his face. Like, come on, Joaquin. Come on.
It's a musical too? They're making it a musical?
Y'all got Gaga, I'm in.
This is so bizarre. The Joker thing, I don't know. The mental health issues and all the weird.
So wait, I do have a question for you, Chill, and anybody else that can answer this.
Can you wait for me to finish the sentence before you ask the question?
Well, no, because it's an important question.
Oh,
what
right.
Scorsese movie are they going to be raping for this movie?
I don't know.
Did he do any musicals? Did he do? I don't think Scorsese ever did.
Nah, he didn't do any.
Scorsese's gonna hate it anyway.
Nah, he likes stuff like Joker.
He's good at doing theme park movies. Come on.
Scorsese don't mess with stuff like Thor: Love and Thunder, but he messed with The Dark Knight and stuff like that. He probably likes Watchmen.
No, what do you talk? Why did you just do that one, Scotty? Did he acknowledge you? Let's read that over.
It's up to whoever I want to. First of all,
subscribe to King Kunch. Everybody.
He wanted to mention me. He just didn't. Okay, he's not enough characters in the.
no, that's not true. He's got the characters.
Hey, Kendall got it right. But look, Joe, could you share
thanks,
my
Kendall? Thanks.
Because I mean, look, I would agree that they should just like even get rid of Amanda Waller, Viola Davis, and stuff. But I'm like, I look at them like this, especially in the grand scheme of DC.
Mm-hmm.
Amanda Waller, not saying she's just a side character, but like she's not one of the big figures in DC at all. Even in the comics, she is a big villain in some regard, but she's like a side character to me. Same thing for Peacemaker, Blue Beetle. If depending on him, you can have him be a heavy hitter in some way for certain things. But he should try. He should be. But that's why I'm not bothered by this, because I'm more so. I still think like even the Justice League, they definitely needed to be, switched around. Some of them just didn't hit. Some of them actors are kind of controversial in a sense. They got some stuff behind the scenes, and they just. And mind you, Henry Cavill had a lot of potential to be Superman. I totally agree. He had so much potential, right? And I wish he would have gotten the script he wanted to be the Superman he wanted to be. But like they kind of squandered and wasted his chance that he had.
No, that was Affleck, fault.
Ben Affleck, he looks amazing as Batman. I'll never take that away from him. And he fights like Batman, and he's intimidating.
The warehouse scene.
You're coming out the gate with Batman, and he's already breaking his number one rule. And like we're hoping for you to finally do Batman right, like at least get his basics right. He wasn't completely bad. He was the best part of BVS. Now, Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman, probably the most well-received, one of the few well-received Justice League members. But when you get to her second film, you start to rethink, like, wow, was she really that good as Wonder Woman? And now Jason
fans love tearing down your stuff, don't you, man? Damn.
And now Jason Momoa, he's the most profitable of the Justice League members. That's a fact. He's the most profitable.
Yeah, that's true.
Most likable.
$1 billion for a Christmas season movie. Let's not forget that these films keep coming on Christmas, so he's gonna perform well. But yeah, your point.
He's the only one so far I can justify that can say if Aquaman 2 is good, but I still think they should all be recast because that whole Justice League cast was just. It's just time to start fresh with them because if you're trying to make Justice League the big figureheads of the universe, which I think they should be of a DC universe. we need to totally revamp them, right?
Jason Momoa is the same thing. By the way, before I get into the Momoa rant, I'm sharing the screen. Can I put it down?
Yeah, you can take it down if you want. I just
Oh,
want.
but that's what I was looking. That's what I was.
I was
looking
gonna
for.
just mention about that. I feel like people.
Okay, I'll rant on Momoa later.
I just wanted to mention about that tweet. I feel like the people who are making those tweets and who are still confused, they don't want to understand. Like James Gunn has been very open about it. I feel like anyone who's in our community of sweaties that needs to know the deep down everything he's thinking, go watch the Michael Rosenbaum interview. He's the Lex Luthor actor. He sits down with him for like an hour and a half. They talk about the whole damn thing, bro. Like he lays it all out. He's continually been consistent. So that tweet about whatever the hell he's confused about, yeah, that's what he said. It starts with Superman Legacy, but the characters that have been in previous things will be canon in the new stuff. It's because they're popular and they're carrying over. Like the literally only reason that Amanda Waller
Mortal Kombat games now.
That's what I'm saying. Like the only reason that Amanda Waller, John Cena, Jolo, the only reason they're carrying over is because they're popular and they're likable actors. If it was not somebody like John Cena playing him, if it was whatever his name is that's playing a U.S. agent in the Marvel shit, he's not getting the carryover. I'm sorry. Like he's a baseline character. The actor is bland as shit. Like that's the only reason they're getting carried over. It's John Cena.
Whoa, Scotty.
John Cena.
Wait, we can't disrespect John Walker on this stream.
Oh,
man.
I'm gonna disrespect that guy.
Oh, come on, man. John Walker's a good man.
But the character, he's a good man, but the character is not. It's soft.
Cole says he's going to rip off dark musicals such as Sit Sweeney Todd.
Oh my god.
Really, Cole? Really?
Bro, Peacemaker is hella popular. John Cena is a living meme, bro.
Dude,
yeah, he is. Hey, listen, wrestling fans, they go hard. They're at the same conventions also.
People who aren't wrestling fans know who he is. People who aren't wrestling fans make jokes about how he's invisible. Like,
and even when he's listening to the music, I'm feeling lonely. Oh, I wish that
wait, who are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about that guy who can't wrestle and act. Okay.
Mark.
Okay.
With Jason Momoa being Aquaman, though, that thing is the same race issue that I have got when it comes to the studios take an adapted character who's always been white. Now for this iteration, Jason Momoa is playing Aquaman. Hey, guess what? You got a Polynesian Aquaman. Feel included, pal. And then he returns back to a white character, just like when Kingpin was being played by Michael Clark Duncan, and then now it's Vincent D'Onofrio all over again. These stand-ins actually do a hindrance to representation. So yeah, I need Jason Momoa out of there today. I need an actual white character to play Aquaman. And then when you don't feel like you're doing enough representation for Polynesian people, then you'll cast an actual Polynesian character who stays in his everlasting.
So how would you feel about Jason Momoa playing a Zarnian? Would that be okay, or do we need an actual Zarnian to play a Zarnian?
I have to know what is a Zarnian.
Zarnian is a Lobo.
Oh, Lobo? Yeah, Lobo's got the face paint and it's different. Not even like a.
But he's not a real Zarnian, though. See, this is where
you're not. You don't mean this, really?
Dude. You're setting these goalposts, and we got to meet them. I mean,
okay. I'll answer this question seriously. There is a lack of people who look like Jason Momoa. So the Hawaiian or the Samoan background, whichever one he's from. Okay. If you're going to face paint that, then I don't want it. If you're face painting anyone, make it white people. If you're face painting anyone, let's do that. Don't burn your castings that are from these underrepresented groups on people who, once they're on screen, they're going to be painted or wearing CGI or doing voice work or hiding behind that. I am not pro any of that. I complain when it comes to that. Of course, in a perfect world, you can't have that perfectly. And it is nice that Rosario Dawson plays Ahsoka. There are nice things that come with these face paints and stuff like that.
But see, like with Momoa, I don't like from jump when they announced he was going to be I'm like, oh, he would be a perfect Lobo, and they're like, oh, he's going to be Aquaman. I don't like that he's Aquaman, but I understand why Zach made him Aquaman, because Aquaman is always like the butt of the joke, like by everybody. And like, would you really say any of those things to Jason Momoa? Because he would destroy you.
He's gonna be Lobo. I hate to break it to all y'all.
It's already from the get-go.
He already signed.
He should have been.
He will be. He will be in James Gunn.
And chill, just to kind of fix the issue that you may potentially have. It's what I think James should do, and I think Lobo would be the perfect character to do this with, because you'll help introduce more of your, cosmic characters of DC and stuff.
Mhm.
A 9-episode Lobo the Bounty Hunter series produced by HBO. Jason Momoa leads it, and I think I don't care if James Gunn directs it or they get some wacky dude like Matthew Vaughn to do it, whatever. Right? I think that would be something dope for him.
You're right. And then I'm going to look at Warner Bros. And I'm going to look at the Max streaming service. I'm going to ask these guys, hey, people, where are your Polynesian castings? Where are they? And they're going to say, yeah, we do it all the time. We talk about Jason Momoa. You don't see that? And I'll be like, he paints his face. Why are we burning representation and these representatives on characters?
But why? But are you not also diminishing like what he does outside the role for Polynesians and for the culture because he has a platform now?
Because he can do the exact same things outside the role with him playing an actual Polynesian character too.
Sure. But what if Lobo is what if Lobo is a character he much rather play than Aquaman, and Aquaman is just something he was good at? Like, he is very passionate about the other role. Yeah. Why is he not allowed to do it? Because they're painting his face? You'd rather have someone else who maybe not be as passionate?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure whoever you get, you're gonna get passionate out of it. If he's like 13% less,
but are you? But like, I'm talking like Henry Cavill casting. I'm talking Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark casting. Like, that's what I picture my Jason Momoa as Lobo.
Chill. Come on, that's
like this Lobo casting is like. This is like, say what you want. It's Margot Robbie, Harley Quinn. Like,
you're telling me it's the exception. It's the same way I just talked about Rosario playing Ahsoka, and we can live with that. I should live with Jason Momoa Lobo. Okay, fine. We can have.
We should see it.
Disney has their exception.
Lobo.
Warner Brothers have their exception. Lobo. Sorry, they got Lobo, and then Paramount gets to have their exception also. Is Halo being played by a black guy? We don't know. He doesn't take his helmet off, does he?
I'm just there with the Lobo, Jason Momoa shit. Like,
well, Master Chief not supposed to take off his helmet, but and look at it like this. While I disagree with what happens out of this, for example, with Starfire, right? I see a lot of these conversations. Now they had Anna Diop play her. There's a lot of people that call Starfire black. They associate with her with being black, right? She's not black, but they associate her with being that. I mean, she's an orange alien from another planet with green eyes and stuff. But when it's like, they look at Starfire as black representation, even though she's not black. Some people look at it's another character I can think of that's
Gamora,
right? Even Ahsoka Rosario Dawson. I literally seen some videos on TikTok where people were saying, "Oh my gosh, Ahsoka is black because of her features that she has." Like, even though she's not black, but they associate her with being kind of black representation. I don't agree with it. Even Piccolo from Dragon Ball Z, he's not black. I think a black guy should play him in live action, but people associate like even Piccolo with like black representation. No, he's not black.
You should have quit when you were ahead, right?
No, but it's true. Has anyone not? Well, when people
that last part,
not heard people call Piccolo black before.
Okay. Sure.
I'm not saying that it's what I want, because I don't look at Piccolo as being black, but like when people think of Piccolo and they try to tie the real world to it, they're gonna think, dang, I can only see a black person doing that. Like when I see Piccolo, I think of a black person. That's
Loki says Piccolo wear a do-rag, he black. What's good, fellas? Crazy.
Facts.
Nah. Loki is out of line. We got Kendall who says, do we do that with Zoe, the Guardians, and Avatar?
I think people do that with even Gamora, and I haven't seen much conversation, but I think with Avatar, like it. Well, Well, Avatar is kind of controversial because people criticize James Cameron for
the hair
using cultures that even though it's all fictional, but whatever.
Isn't it so hard though to tell like a story of native people to a planet culture? Like that's what we know. Like that's what we relate to.
I forgive James Cameron. He's Canadian. We're good. No beef. But look at what we're citing here. Knuckles, who was played by, was it Chiwetel Ejiofor who voice acted him? Was it? And
Yeah.
I thought it was Idris. I thought it was Idris.
Wait, you talking about in the
yeah,
movie?
right.
which was it? Cole.
Knuckles.
It was Idris in the
I
movie.
thought it was Idris. Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah.
sorry, I'm
the movie.
mistakening my side characters in Marvel movies who are cast black,
Super
who are
good
not
at killing
actual black.
bullets.
So when we think of Knuckles and we think of Gamora, all of a sudden, thank you, Idris Elba. All of a sudden, all of these castings where they race swap and skin swap start standing out. You know, he would be perfect for Lobo, and he is a James Gunn type of character. Yeah, he would be, but I like what he did with his character in Fast and Furious. He's playing a character named Dante, and Dante is just his own thing, and we're always going to look at Dante. We're going to associate it with this Polynesian person, Jason Momoa, and that's the solution.
I have proof that Knuckles is black. Look, what are those boots that he's wearing?
Are they
What
lugs?
are those
Let me see.
boots? Timberland boots. He's a brother.
Dead ass.
That's a brother. That's brother
I
Knuckles.
need him to say the N word in the third.
Nuclear? Which word?
Yeah.
Cole?
Yeah, nuclear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Arnold-
Chill. Would you consider Zoe to actually be black? Because a lot of people don't, but apparently she herself considers herself to be black.
Zoe
Afro-Latina?
Saldana?
Yeah.
She's Afro-Latina, right?
Yeah, that's the whole thing. If you got to get into the New York politics to see who's black enough and who's all that, that's talk to the
New
people
York.
who live in New York.
Mhm.
Ask them.
Yeah.
Scotty,
to me,
you're the
she's both.
closest by proximity.
I
She's
still don't
Latin
know.
She's both. She's Latin and black, but
Like one parent is from America, one parent is from South.
I think I'm not sure.
Huh.
I know she is more Latin. I don't know specifically which she's connected to. But when I think of her, I'll be honest with you, I do kind of put her in like black actor territory. Even though she does look like, you could throw her in Latin actor territory. But when I first see Zoe, I think of like her being black.
See, I care less about that. I'm more so like, is the skin melanated? Like, are your parents from a place where there's sunlight and it hits your skin? Yeah. All right. Enough said. I don't care about the languages that you guys speak and who got to that part of the country where and how. It's not as important to me. Eric Guapo, welcome to membership. Thank you for re-upping that membership. If you become a member, I'll read your live chats with priority. Next topic here is hashtag play as T'Challa. We won't take too long.
Yeah.
Someone's ruffling and shuffling. Is everyone okay?
You mentioned T'Challa. We went how long without T'Challa mention? Or the child?
Have to mention T'Challa, Mike.
That's a record.
I am black and Cuban and consider myself black, so I guess it considers what circle you hang around. Let's not pretend how you look doesn't affect your world experiences also, right?
So why should you force that into the movies then? Because when you go to watch movies, you watch the movies because you're watching these fantastical situations that you wouldn't normally experience, whether it's like a sci-fi thing or an action thing or a horror movie or whatever. Like I don't go to these movies because I'm looking for a Puerto Rican Italian character on the screen. I'm going because I want to see a movie. Yeah,
you're right. I go to individual movies for that reason. But when we step back and look at the studio and look at their output, I notice a pattern of underrepresentation. So movie per movie, sure, you're right. Who cares? This actor is great at acting. Jason Momoa could be Lobo. Zoe Saldana could be anything. But then when I ask myself, why is the world the way that it is? Why can't people humanize, sympathize with people who've got darker skin? What's going on in the world? Oh, it's probably because the media that they're being exposed to only ever feature the dark-skinned people in negative portrayals, which I probably shouldn't reinforce by speaking of them now. That's why. It's not the movie themselves are fine, Mike. You're actually correct when it comes to that. That's not my issue. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
The next topic is play as T'Challa. Cole, are you a gamer?
Yes.
Only Fortnite though.
Oh, you're gonna talk about the video game? Oh.
So the video game that they advertised. Yeah. If you read that little blurb, they say you're gonna enjoy being a Black Panther. And they never stop to tell us that you're playing the character T'Challa.
Yep. They're very ambiguous. Super ambiguous.
Is that a red flag for you too, Cole? Or are we imagining things?
Have they at all confirmed that he's in this, or is he still unconfirmed in it? They're just showing the others.
Unconfirmed. There are
Wow,
petitions that are out that you can find on change.org. You can play as T'Challa. You can find it, and you can find the sphere paranoia coming from some of these fans. Yes, the red flags. Exactly, Kendall. Good to know we're on the same page.
Why would you want to play as T'Challa and not Shuri? Shuri's a Black Panther.
God, it's like why can't you just like have some missions with Shuri and then missions with T'Challa? And then actually, you've read like older comics probably, right? Chill. Like, are there any other versions of Black Panther besides T'Challa and Shuri?
Every time there's another version, it's short-lived. Even the Shuri run was a short tenure of Black Panther comics.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, if you wanted to add multiple though, or something like that, I mean, you can do that. Just have T'Challa in as well. Like you can have, missions or like, playable characters with like all of them. Sort of like
so
with the
you're talking about
Spider-Man game.
There's a Black Panther video game. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Cliffhanger.
And they don't mention
they can do this.
Yes. If you do want to include Shuri you got to do it like this, where Miles and Peter are running it together. In a way, and just like an upcoming there's missions you have to play as Miles. There's missions you have to play as Peter. So you can't really avoid playing as either one. When you're in the open world, you can probably switch and be whoever you want. But for the most part, you got to play as both, and they're both worked into the narrative. It's not just like one of those games where okay, you play as Peter, but you can do all these things to unlock Miles and unofficially play as him. You have to play as both. They work to narrative. They want to do that for this.
Even missions with MJ,
but T'Challa still needs to be the lead, because this is still Peter's story. This is Peter's leading the story regardless. Miles is there along for the ride, but he's there still in the narrative. If they want to do this for the Black Panther game, do it. But T'Challa needs to be the figurehead Black Panther.
There's talks that the beginning of this game has the Black Panther die, and then your created character comes in, and you can customize them, and that's fun in games. I love customizing my character. I play Pokemon. I play a lot of things where you customize your character, right?
Wait. What are the customization options? Can you make them white?
I mean, Pokemon, yeah, now you can.
Vitiligo is a thing. Vitiligo exists, right?
I mean, in the most recent Pokemon games, you could customize your skin color stuff now. You can, they made it a little bit more deep.
Yeah, maybe you're in Wakandans Jabari and up in the mountains, and not your skin tone could be a little bit lighter.
Maybe you're adopted,
this, dude. I see what you're saying, Chill. Like, why are they doing this? Doesn't make any sense. T'Challa is black. Like, are they that afraid? Like, did somebody threaten them and said, "Hey, if you ever mention Chadwick or T'Challa again, we're gonna boycott you or something or whatever." Like, they seem to be afraid to do him.
Mike, if you put on the hat that I often wear here on this channel, there's some deep shit happening. There is some anti-black going on, and even if it costs the studio money, games.
But it made them money, though. That's why I don't understand. Like, if he was in a movie that made like $1.35, then I would understand why they're not doing it. He made them like $1 billion. Like,
I don't get racism either, but it happens. It's stupid. They view Chadwick Boseman and his passing as, oh yeah, this character, this is disposable. It's a mantle. You just give it to Shuri, you see what happens, and they made $500 million less money than they did with the first movie. Okay. It's proven not to be a successful route, but the video game feels like they'll do it anyways. Now, since that press release that came out, when was that, Kate, out? 4 months ago?
Yeah, it was about 4 months ago.
Since that, we haven't gotten word about it. I'm ready to launch a Play as T'Challa video with more reasons of why we should want to play as the benefits of.
I think what's happening again, and this does happen a lot with a lot of these live action adaptations and stuff. Because, like, when Superman the movie came out, it influenced some changes in the comics, right? Not saying it was bad changes, but influenced some changes. And I think since Marvel Studios took a route like they did with T'Challa, Chadwick Boseman, all these other studios want to have a sort of synergy in a sense. Like, well, let's repeat that. Let's continue that out of like respect without even like reading the source material. I think they are going to pull a lot more from the source material comments as the games actually do, and like movies and stuff. The video games of comics, they do pull more from the source material, but I think they're just overall thinking, well, Black Panther, T'Challa, Chadwick Boseman, that's the Black Panther. We can't put T'Challa in this game.
It sets the standard,
and it's going to kind of, real quick, it's going to kind of suck that the only recent T'Challa game adaptation we're going to see is from that trash Marvel Avengers game that just literally got nuked off of the game store. And if this is going to be like some custom character, be your own Black Panther stuff, I'm sorry. No. Because I want to play as Black Panther. I want to play as T'Challa. Now, you can get away with that for a Spider-Man game. Like, create your own Spider-Man character, whatever. Like, you're a new up-and-coming Spider-Man carrying on the legacy of Peter or whatever. You have the opportunity to do that because there's like over 30-something Spider-Man games in general. I could be wrong.
And this is the first Black Panther game. And the second Black Panther game that DC Diesel is speaking about down here is AAA game where the Captain America and Black Panther from the 50s link up. So again, we're doing it without the primary
grandfather, right?
Yeah, his name is Azuri. DC Diesel will correct me because he always corrects me, but I think his name is Azuri, is the name of that Black Panther. And I'm just saying, why for this franchise are we displaying how multiple people can wear the mantle when we don't do that for other franchises?
Joker.
Joker?
He's in the chat.
Oh, I thought you said except Joker. You said what's up, Joker? He says, having T'Challa in a game definitely does not guarantee its good quality. Example, the Avengers game. Garbage game, but it has playable T'Challa in it.
Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at, too. It's like, with a lot of this stuff, like, if it's written in such a way, is there no way that they write a Black Panther that changes your mind?
No. My mind will not be changed at all because you're diminishing the primary character of the franchise and you're diluting it by create your own Black Panther. So the quality of the game, or even like K-Dot was saying, even if it's accurate story points that they adapt, if you're not using T'Challa, I don't care for it. I think that this is damaging the brand.
So just as like a devil's advocate, because I'm very curious about this, and I really like the reason why I watch all your videos on this stuff is because I actually do respect like your stance on like, no, it's got to be T'Challa, it has to be him, can't be anybody else. Just for instance, you go like future timeline of a DC type of storyline. We know that Superman and Lois have a child. We know he has Superman like powers. That child diminishes Kal-El?
No, I wouldn't think
so. The way that it's written, the way that Marvel's writing it, diminishes it
because he's so new and he doesn't have like 60-70 years of
so you are at the point where you're not allowing that history to become a new, potentially maybe even better history than what T'Challa is now.
Yeah, that's
who knows. The writing, it really comes down to the writing. It really does. But with how progressive everything is now, dude, like if you get the right writers behind a Black Panther type character, I don't know. I just
going off of that. I think this is, they scrambled once because if it's true that Chadwick didn't tell anybody that he had it until whatever,
he never told anybody.
I think they scrambled to figure out an acceptable or a suitable scenario where, because I don't know. This is something for a major character that made a major amount of money based on that character alone. As much as you like Killmonger, as much as you like Shuri, whatever, even Angela Bassett, who I adore, it was like the movie did it because of Chadwick. Like Chadwick was the character. And something like that has never happened. I mean, the closest would be Paul Walker. And even then, I mean, he shared it with Vin Diesel.
This would be lead.
Huh?
Yeah, he wasn't the lead.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, but even the same thing, like this would be like if Chris Evans died and like, we're just going to get like, Wyatt Russell to come in or something like that. Like it wouldn't be the same. And they didn't know, like doing something with Rhodey's like a B character, a C character. Like it didn't matter regardless of what he said. Yeah, get over it or whatever. Like, that kind of thing. And to me still hashtag Terrence Howard is Rhodey. But like, this is a major character. So I think they didn't know how to proceed because they didn't want to they didn't want to seem as if like they were just gonna, oh, he's easily replaceable, so we're just getting another black dude to replace him and all that. But then they went so far the other way where they just totally dismissed him, and it's like you're dismissing a black male role model for kids. That I don't know. I just think
for white kids who don't get to see that enough, who can possibly become cops in the future, and it would be beneficial for them to have posters and for them to have dressed as him for Halloween, and for them to have played a video game where they were him and have this friend, this familiar face, this familiar figure, rather than, oh, Chadwick died. Okay, you know what? Even in the video game, T'Challa's gonna die also.
Yeah, that makes no sense to me whatsoever. Yeah. I don't know what's in there. Like somebody like from the Department of African American Relations or something had to have spoken to these people to like put the fear of God in them or something to keep making these boneheaded decisions.
I believe it was Ryan Coogler and Nate Moore who spearheaded this. Not I think so. I heard it.
Yeah.
Really, you heard it.
I heard both of them say it. Go listen to the Wakanda.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying, even though it's moronic in my opinion and everyone else's opinion, I can at least understand the movie thing to an extent, with the real life actor, playing, the character like that. But with the video game, how does that make any sense? It's also something to like honor him. So you're taking him out, you're not honoring him.
Yeah.
Synergy. They want to make things synergize with the Guardians lineup that they're using for that video game. The Guardians have had a lot, as Mike would know, because you're a comic book shop owner, right? You would know that the Guardians aren't always Drax, Gamora, and Peter Quill.
Well, in the comics, yeah, but they do in their defense, they do have this little period where they feel that there has to be synergy. For instance, where they did that stupid boneheaded thing where they gave Peter organic web shooters back in 2003 when that abysmal Spider-Man movie came out. They had Straczynski do that. Then
happened
with the Guardians, when the Guardians, I jumped ahead. When the Avengers movie came out, there was the Avengers were not the Avengers in the movie. So what they did is they had Brian Michael Bendis come up with a book where Black Widow was there, Hawkeye was there, Cap was there, Iron Man was there, and the Hulk. Yeah, it was all. So
they went to Mars, remember?
But then eventually, you know what? In they get tired of it, and then they just let it fade away. Because when the kids come in here looking for a Black Adam where he looks like The Rock and they don't get it, then they're going to leave because there's no commitment. And I don't know, to be honest with you, I don't know how they can accomplish that where they have these things represented in the comic books at the same thing. I mean, should they do a line where it's like there's one movie history and then there's one comic book history, so they can have a Black Adam book where he looks like The Rock and then another Black Adam book where he looks like Black Adam? Like, I mean, I don't know what the answer is to that. But this here, they just seem to be like, yeah, you know what? We're just going to keep T'Challa dusted, I guess. Like, I mean, he never came back from the blip or whatever. There we go. Like, I mean.
Yeah. If DC started making Superman games without Clark, just his son, John, that would be a problem. It's also not the first ever Superman video game that they would do this, right? We're talking about getting this character.
So situational. Like, it's so situational.
Yeah,
we're talking about what ifs.
Reaction.
We're talking about because somebody passed away. Yeah. So it's like, I totally understand what everyone in chat is saying. They're like, John didn't replace Clark, etc., etc. What I'm saying is Chadwick Boseman was such a blessing to the character that now that character is literally not allowed to evolve beyond what he gave to it. We as a fandom are somewhat holding back what the mantle does because we're tying it so close to this person. You're not going to actually allow it to move beyond the name of T'Challa unless it's a resurrection, unless it's a multiversal version of him. Like, it has to be him. What I'm saying is I picture a world where the writing can correct the past decisions that were made. Like, we're writing around a death.
In the movie,
we're writing around
in the movie, but in the movies or the game. What are you talking about? Which
T'Challa? Who do you hold to a higher, like the character of T'Challa that you keep championing, right? He has to be the same character across everything, correct?
Yeah. I want T'Challa in anything Black Panther.
Chadwick Boseman put him here, right?
So now he elevated the character, the brand T'Challa.
So this has to be Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther. Does the comic version have to be that Black Panther? Does the video game have to be that Black Panther? So why does the new iteration of a live action movie fandom or whatever have to be the Chadwick Boseman?
Okay, you're talking about the movies. I was trying to make it a
why
video game
can't the story
conversation.
evolve past, like, we don't have a fucking choice. We don't. People passed away. We don't have a choice.
Yeah,
Star
you
Wars
can't
doesn't
control
have
that.
a choice with Princess Leia. We don't
True.
have a choice.
Mhm.
Like, what do you do? Like, you
move on.
Ultimately,
you move forward.
Right.
You
so how do you
accept
do that? You resurrect him and call him T'Challa still, or do you try to instill those same motives, those same ideals within the new mantle? Maybe even better than it was in the past, because the past iteration, no offense, is based on actual segregation and what actual Black people went through. Now it's different. There is equal rights, but there's other rights we're fighting for. So what if the new iterations align better with what we're trying to fight here in the present? It could be a better version of Black Panther, is all I'm saying. I hate living in the past. History was literally my least favorite subject in school. I think that as a society, we could be better. I think that the culture could elevate beyond the name of T'Challa. Like, for me,
so TJ would be the new better
anybody, just the ideals that the character holds true to the name of T'Challa. I don't understand why you're gonna put, because an actor was such a good addition to that, he's now here and nothing else can be less. Like, the comic would have to be held here too. A cartoon character would have to be held here too. You know what I mean? So you're never gonna replace, like, it's, for me, the story won't evolve past where you're at if you're just wanting T'Challa and nobody else.
I want T'Challa and nobody else for the reason of, like, we get Bruce Wayne Batman and nobody else all the time.
But that is also a 1990s, always 1990s, 1980s Gotham. You're never going to get a present day Gotham with, like...
I'll take it. I think that...
Do you know who Damian Wayne is?
His son with Talia al Ghul?
That's his son, yeah. He's a dope character.
He's great.
Superman's son, dope character.
John.
Like, these stories got to go somewhere eventually. Where I'm just saying, like, where does it break for you? Like, where you write your Black Panther story today, what is it?
If I could,
dead.
I'd resurrect.
T'Challa's dead.
Yeah, and they should have never. Yeah, obviously in the movies they should have never killed him.
And he would live forever.
He would live forever. They could kill T'Challa years from now after they did like a trilogy of films and like as a tragic ending. Oh no, they killed T'Challa. All right, let's get revenge in the next Avengers movie. If they did something like that, that'd be a different story. But one solo movie and three, and I'm not trying to do the movie discussion. I'm really on the video game discussion. I heard everything you had to say. I think a perennial, constant presence of a character who's Black is beneficial to racial progression globally. And to give it to TJ or whoever it is, even if the story writes it's better than him, let's pretend they do this great Black Panther who's not actual T'Challa and it's this other guy. I realize that the franchise will reboot. You know, DC just went through a reboot now. Marvel eventually will. And when they reboot, they're not going to use the stand-in character who was only substituting because Chadwick Boseman died and they couldn't do T'Challa. They're going to cast a T'Challa again. So whatever progression this new character has a dead end. It's a glass ceiling, automatically going to fizzle out. And so it's a waste of resources of $200 million of a budget going to a character who's not going to last after this, even if it's a great story.
See, I heard what you said.
I want to hear Scotty respond.
Agree with you.
But if it's a great story and it's even more impactful than past Black Panther stories, it will outlast T'Challa. The name T'Challa could be forgot. I'm sorry. Writing could literally surpass that character's name. It's a possibility.
It's a rare possibility, but it's possible, sure, that this will just become the bee's knees and wipe away any expectations. It's possible.
Chill.
I don't take away any. I don't take away from any of the recast T'Challa because I do respect the comics and I do respect the past of that character. I just think that sometimes, not every time, but sometimes it's a detriment to what you're trying to do. When you talk shit about like just the kid who's 5 and we don't even know where he's gonna go yet in that story.
I went to go get some aluminum foil, and I want you to tell me exactly what magic words these two dudes said to this multi-trillion-dollar company to get them to stop making money.
Bro, it was an emotional time, and they decided to say what they said. I don't want to cover that right now, bro. I want to talk about the video game, which I think we're done with. Was K-Dot going to add something about the game before we change topics again?
I'm not going to play the game.
Yes, I want to show something, and a lot of gamers will understand what I'm talking about when it comes to this company.
Okay.
Let me share my screen.
Let me read a couple of these. Black Panther was a massive hit in Civil War. Mike Brody, Terrence Howard again.
I think he meant make. I think.
Make Brody, Terrence Howard again. Black Panther as a character was so big they put his Black Panther suit in the Smithsonian Museum. That never happens.
So wait. So in this game, you play as T'Challa. Wow. Is this the one with Captain America in World War II?
I'm not talking about that one. That one right now. The one with Captain America World War II is his grandfather.
Okay, this is another one where you get to play as Black Panther, essentially. That's it.
A Black Panther, not the Black Panther. He's the main Black Panther dies in the beginning, according to some tweets of rumors. But if you read the actual press release for the game when they announced it, they are not even putting the main studio of EA. They're putting like a side studio, and they don't say the word T'Challa. They just say you're gonna play Black Panther, explore Wakanda.
Oh, wait, it's being made by EA.
It's a side company of
that's what I wanted to show.
Okay,
but EA is still
like look at who
parent over it.
Well, what other games have they made?
My screen?
EA is making a single player.
This is my worry, and that's the big thing is EA. EA in the past recent years, especially around Battlefront 2 era, they have not been even their recent Battlefield game. They have not been making some good quality games, right? Personally, if you're gonna do this game, you need to give it to someone like a better studio like Insomniac or even a worthier studio of this, right?
They're busy with
Rockstar
Wolverine.
Games, even Rockstar Games, even but EA of all, that's why I'm kind of worried because EA
has the most downvoted Reddit. You know about that Star Wars Battlefront and what they said about microtransactions. They have the most downvoted Reddit comment in the world. The EA games.
Yeah, gambling.
How's this game going to be any different than Spider-Man? How's it going to be any different than Avengers? Like,
you play as Peter Parker, you play as Miles Morales, you play as actual characters, but they're going to deprive the fans of that. Yeah. The players.
So worse. Got it. Make a worse game than you've already done. Great, good job.
And last thing I will say this, show, and this is why I say they need to make it T'Challa for sure in this game. And I heard you guys talking about Superman earlier, and I would say the same exact thing for Superman, right?
Mm-hmm.
They barely got any games that are even of good quality.
Why are kids playing outside at 7 Pacific?
I don't know, man, but it's public park. Public park, man. I can't tell them kids not to do what they want to do.
Are they selling anything there?
Hopefully they're not. But regardless of anything, the good T'Challa is in his infancy when it comes to gaming. If he appeared in anything, I would say it was probably that Marvel Ultimate Alliance game, but he was like one of the playable characters. There was many playable characters in that game, but he was not a main character. Same with Superman. Superman is even still in his infancy with games and stuff. The last game he did was what? Superman Returns or something. It was an okay game, not received well. But if you're going to do a Superman game again, or even a Black Panther game, it needs to be Clark Kent. It needs to be T'Challa. If you want to do like John Kent and stuff in the future, fine. But you need to put out a good quality Superman game first, starring Clark Kent. Same thing for T'Challa. If you want to do stuff about Shuri, cool. Put out a good quality Black Panther game that people will say is the best Black Panther game. And even you got to put out some more, but do those characters first and put out some good quality with them before you can start to pass it off to like Shuri, Miles Morales, and all these other people.
We're at a pretty important time. It's the beginning, infancy of this franchise to the masses, and to in the second movie talk about it's his sister that could be Black Panther. In the video game, it's you, the character made up, can be Black Panther. We're not establishing anything. Christopher Reeves was a blessing to Superman. Henry Cavill was too, and we're different actors. I'm gonna read some more. And Gray says the new actor in the role could be just as good, if not better. I'm nice. I don't care about the movies anymore, bro. T'Challa is Black Panther. He's the primary one. Respectfully, mute that noise. T'Challa or nothing. Spoiler T'Challa, King says. Right? So no more Wolverine because Jackman said he's done, and I cannot see anyone else on screens beside him. Well, I mean, Hugh Jackman didn't die, so I guess that would be an interesting difference. Black Panther does not work without T'Challa. Batman does not work without Bruce. Superman with Clark. It's a comic book character. They do live forever. Were you going to say something, Scotty?
Yeah, and it's like, I don't want chat to get it twisted. I agree that Bruce Wayne, like Batman, does not work without Bruce Wayne. But Damian Wayne is also a character, and he's also dope. I get it. I get what everyone is saying. And I'm coming from the other side. I literally don't know why we haven't had multiple T'Challa stories. Like,
but Damian's no Batman.
No one's trying to write it. Like, no one's trying to hire to write it. Like, you got to find studios that want it, and Disney owns everything. Like, that's what we got now.
Dot.
Just to bounce off of Scotty's point real quick, because I give a prime example. Ted Kord, Blue Beetle, right? There's a lot more people that's a fan of Jaime Reyes' Blue Beetle than they are Ted Kord. He's not the first, but he came way before Jaime. But he's nearly not as popular as Jaime as Blue Beetle is. And like the example he gave with Robin, that character itself is like the prime example of it moves on to someone new. And each iteration of Robin has been good, except for Carrie Kelly, mid. But
and Jason Todd, stop it. Jason Todd was a little whiny bitch.
Come on, Mike, no Jason Todd slander, please. He's cool.
Stop trying to rewrite history, cool. DC dots.
But I can't really disagree with the comment in the in the chat saying like nobody else can't really do Superman, because like I don't dislike John Kent. I'm not saying he doesn't have potential to be where Clark is at, but I'm gonna be real. Clark Kent is Superman. Like I'm willing to see somebody else as Superman in that, but I'm not gonna lie when I say, only Clark can really do this. I'm sorry,
bro. Like
with Spider-Man, I'm starting to like accept it a little bit more.
I got to push back on the message. Like, you're never gonna convince me that a creative can't come along and change everybody's minds.
Oh yeah, I'm not.
You're never gonna convince me that there's a story out there that won't literally blow everybody away and make everybody forget about the past.
And you know what, Scotty? Somebody came out. Dan Slott. Hold on, wait. Hold on, DC Dots. Dan Slott came out with a tweet today, or not today. This week that said, if somebody your favorite character can't get ruined, and people got all up in arms about it because they're like, oh no, the character can't get ruined, because he's like, these characters have been around for like 40, 50 years. Eventually, it'll come around again, or there's some old stuff that you haven't read that you don't. So these characters will be here once we're all gone, regardless of whatever happens. So to Scotty's point, they like, we have this ownership right now, but like, I guarantee, like, these people, and another retailer who's in California was talking about this on his show on Tuesday night, about how people seem to like to think that the 90s was a good time for comic books, and it wasn't. It wasn't. It almost bankrupted the entire industry, and yet people have these like rose-colored glasses on how it was good. So great that Batman got his back broke and we murdered Superman, and there were 4 other people who could have been Superman, but we didn't know if they were or not, whether it was like his Kryptonian essence or whatever. There were some lame ass Superman stories written then, and then even in the 2000s. So all of this stuff were like, because it's not now, and there's no like women, starring in comic books, and women having roles where they can actually talk and stuff like that, and minorities and all, like it wasn't good back then. It wasn't good back then.
Those are the good old days. We stuffed them in the fridge.
Yes, Major Force.
I got a quick question for Scotty. Because I didn't want to lose this point. Scotty, let me ask you. I'm gonna use a good example of and this is me saying this, a good example of a new person taking up the Batman mantle. Now, Batman Beyond Terry McGinnis versus Bruce Wayne. Who's the better Batman overall? Who is the Batman? Like Terry's not a Batman.
That is the examples that I'm talking about, good, bro. Like
Bruce is the top dog, regardless.
Agreed. But like that's what I'm saying. Like you can't tell me there's not gonna be another like T'Challa's here and this person's here. Bro, I don't care if you put Shuri down here off screen. Like you can elevate a character to the level of T'Challa. You can, I think.
I was ready to hop off the topic. Here comes Kendall. I'm sure he wants to chime in on some of what we were talking about. Hold your thought, Kendall, because I want to read some of these that came in. And I don't interrupt my guests, and I don't read these enough. The first Black Panther game should be presented through him, as people only like Black Panther mainstream based on him. Yeah, but Scotty's saying, what about if there's a new one? Just wanted to introduce Rhys. He has special needs and a huge Chad and Black Panther fan. RHYS. How do you pronounce that word? Rhys?
Rhys
is helping the recast cause by reaching out to MCU actors via mail to help. So I guess Rhys is the person who is writing this, but I don't know how to react to this, Rhys, but if you're doing something to help recast...
I think somebody else might be writing it, but
for Rhys, that's what I think's happening. Well, thank you, Rhys, for trying to get the character recast. I'm doing the same thing over here on my end, on the YouTube end. And Drain Hansen says that will maintain proper representation. 10 games down, we can have a Black Panther customization. Yeah, 10 games.
I'll be honest. I wouldn't even say. Look, I'll say this. I wouldn't even say 10. Okay, let me use the Batman games. I'm be real. Batman games didn't really get like quality until them like Arkham games. Prior to that, you had like the little 80-bit, 8-bit side scroller games that they had in the 90s and stuff, but primitive days of gaming. The Batman didn't really like hit until those Arkham games in gaming. And same for Spider-Man. It wasn't until like that Spider-Man 2 movie game where people was like,
it was a great game.
That's when like the Spider-Man games started getting really like good. And you had some good ones like Web of Shadows come out, Marvel Spider-Man. What else? Oh, and that Ultimate Spider-Man game we get to play as Venom on GameCube.
Okay, Star Wars fans have been over EA. Tid Jr. is fanfic creation. Exactly, to spoiler. Joker says, EA, it's in the game. Except for your beloved character. That's not in the game. War for Wakanda.
EA is worrisome. They murdered Battlefield.
He said to tell the kids to shut up. Shout out Eve Ewan, finally writing a good Black Panther story again. Yeah, so it's like Dan Slott said, you can't ruin a character. The best thing to happen to Jason Todd was a crowbar. Damian Wayne's the only Robin I can stand. All the other ones are cool, and you know my opinion on Red Hood. Dan Slott is not the authority on that. He is a terrible person and an average writer. Damn. Nerdman says fans are entitled to douchebags.
Facts, Nerdman, preach.
He doesn't watch Ahsoka. He doesn't watch Captain Marvel 2, which are the next topics. So I'm not sending him an invite.
Eric says he has to watch it because of his friends. So he technically has to watch. He's obligated to.
90s had many great stories. So did the 2020s, but they're surrounded by bad stories. Isn't Terry a Bruce clone?
Sadly, yes.
Death of Superman was a well-written story and executed very well. Every era since comics started has had great stories. It's kind of what I just said, see? The replacements after Superman's death was not meant to replace him, and DOS... Huh?
Death of Superman.
The Death of Superman was not the first time they killed Superman. It was the second or third. If superheroes survive for the next generation, it's through games. That's a good point. Sorry, this is Rhys's family. Rhys also has a petition going as well. Reese is mostly concerned about Chadwick getting what he wanted, which of course is T'Challa recast. Pronounced Reese. Got it. What's going on, Vision Silva? Okay, King Conch, you're in the building. Mike is yours.
Damn, not like this though. No, I was just gonna say, like, to kind of piggyback off Scotty, like I get where Scotty is coming from. I've been someone we've gone over this before. Like, I am very gung ho on getting that male representation back in there.
Scotty doesn't know that Fiona and me do it in my
Richard, look.
I was like, what was that?
I'm never coming back. I'm never coming back. Okay, all right. See you later. Bye. Have a good one. Bye.
I had to do Scotty like that.
Bye. Have a very good time.
That's messed up.
But not like for real. I mean, even to what K-Dot said about Robin being passed from mantle to mantle, where the only reason why T'Challa is Black Panther is because it is a mantle that's passed from person to person, generation to generation. They had to fight for it. So, like, to Scotty's point, like, I do, if T'Challa didn't pass, I mean, if Chadwick didn't pass and they kept the story going, it was going to happen eventually to where somebody was going to take the mantle. I didn't really see them killing him in the future.
Yeah, because time passes in real life, and not in comic books they don't. But in this,
in real life,
that was coming. Yeah,
it was going to happen. It was coming. But like, to this point, it makes sense to me in the movies. But to your point, in this video game shit, nah. Like, it doesn't have to happen anywhere outside of 616. Anywhere outside of Marvel 616, T'Challa should not be dead, based off of how he died in that movie. So, what if? Like, I'm very curious about what they're gonna do. What if? When they're doing this whole multiversal saga with Secret Wars, like, I'm going to be pissed if they don't have a multiversal T'Challa in there. And there's perfect ways that they could do it. Like, it's a perfect time to use an old actor, to use an aged up T'Challa through the multiverse. Like, it's a perfect time for that type of stuff to go down, just to keep that character relevant in the legacy. But yeah, I just want to say,
like, as a fandom, it's like, now Chadwick has set the bar. Now we gotta, like, everything's got to compare to Chadwick. Like, you're not gonna get that shit in EA video games. Like, you're not. I don't know.
What makes you think I'm saying it's got to compare to Chadwick?
The recast. Like, you're not recasting a comic because he didn't die in the comic. We're talking about movies and a recast that you believe has to happen because someone has passed away. Where I'm at is like, does it? Like, could the writing surpass what T'Challa did in the past to elevate the character more? We don't know. Well, we haven't seen what they're able to do yet.
It depends how EA is going to tackle the game. If they're going to like tackle it from, like, let's say the God of War perspective, the most recent one, where they're kind of prioritizing story over the gameplay. So there's some limitations to it to make it feel more cinematic. Because I watched the recent Mortal Kombat story mode. That was like watching a literal movie. As you know, it was a literal movie you was watching and stuff, because it was directed so well. And you know, that Liu Kang in, you know, that game was better than Liu Kang in the most recent movie. I don't dislike that, but you know, it just depends on what type of game style they're going for. But I think the best way for them to approach this, if they want to do something meaningful, approach it from the way like Rockstar approached Red Dead Redemption 2, or how PlayStation approached God of War, the most recent one, even Spider-Man. Story driven, with some priority of story over the gameplay to an extent, right?
I don't agree that they should take the death of T'Challa and put it into the video game. But if the death of Chadwick Boseman is the most like if we are at the upper echelon of what the Black Panther story is, and now we're holding everything to this higher mantle, we're forcing this video game company to tell that same story.
But that is selling a short,
as a fandom.
Like, that's selling Black Panther fans short, because we do want to play. Like, I'm playing a game, I want to play as T'Challa. Like, I don't want to play like.
But the think of how the events.
That
what I'm saying
for
is
white
like,
kids to be like, I want to be that guy. That, you know which guy I want to be more than anyone else? That Black African character from this uncolonized place. That and then that same character they're being years from now is also going to be in movies. Years from now is also in the comics. Years from now is going to be in the cartoons. I want the white kids to become that. It would produce less racism in the world.
And we talk about quality of game too. Like it's EA. They literally just did a DLC Black Panther for the Avengers game. That game is arguably trash.
Well, the quality of the game I don't think will matter. Once it's just really the beginning of the game.
Games are trash, they deleted it from history.
Really,
that's what I'm saying. Like
it's really just the beginning of the game. Are you playing as T'Challa when your dad dies, King T'Chaka? Or are you playing as this brand new character after T'Challa dies? That's like the only thing that's we're arguing, because the quality of the game, I'm sure, will be the same steps and the same levels, whether or not you're T'Challa or they create your own character. And last comment from Eric,
like I don't think they should I don't think they should carry over the death of a character from film to video.
I think the only reason why this is a big deal for me is, well, at least for me, and like maybe for some other folks, is that like my fear of what they was going to do with T'Challa and Black Panther 2 was like, it's cool for this movie, but don't do that outside of this movie. Like, don't do that going forward. Like, we have to make mainstay T'Challa here. So like, deal with your emotions, do this shit, do what you want to do here. But outside of that, like, it's a thin line between like crossing that shit to be like, nah, y'all are effing up here. And that's, to me, this video game, if they don't have T'Challa in it, or they do this stuff with T'Challa, like, that's the first step of going downhill for me. And like, that's when it's like, we got to have some real legitimate concerns about what they're actually doing with T'Challa. So then I probably start agreeing with Chill more on this on this topic here. But
the movie will bleed over to other media. That's just the fact. It's just the movies are so influential and so on.
Oh yeah, it's gonna happen,
dude. Like, what if, like, literally, what if the death of T'Challa in that moment in What If season 2, that shit could become one of those, like, what's that point in time where shit's gonna happen? Like, yeah, T'Challa is gonna die in this moment, in this time, and there's nothing you can do about it. Like, they can elevate the story. Right. I'm just saying.
The canon event of elevating the story. Next topic is Ahsoka Tano. Ahsoka Tano from, that orange Togruta from Star Wars that we all know and love from 2008. I remember when Mike was watching, he's like, "This." Mike said, "This makes the prequels better."
So can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
My favorite scene of Ahsoka was her little training session. You saw a lot of back.
No, stop
going on.
You.
This is all I wanted to say.
He said, "Orange is back."
I knew the moment K Dots grinned while was saying, I knew where it was going.
Continue. That's all I wanted to say.
Does anyone have any opinion on this new show?
Well, I did not say it made the prequels.
How much time you got?
What do you think about this newest episode?
I thought it was good.
Oh, I didn't.
Wait, I'm a new episode or series overall?
This latest episode where we got to see the Ahsoka returning to Ezra, the big hug over there. We got to see the fighting of the locals, they're not crabs and they're not turtles, but there's something in between.
Crustaceans.
The crustaceans.
Well, we just know that they're cute and they're gonna sell toys.
Dapper as shit with that.
Yep.
That's right.
It was all
Diesel
right.
with the opinion over here.
She was looking good in this new episode.
I did like how they did like every facet of Star Wars in one episode. Like, they hit us with the politics, they hit us with the dog fighting, they hit us with the tactician, they hit us with the Western like vibes there. What else they hit us with? The saber fighting. They hit us with
the non-saber fighting. They had Ezra just using the Force.
That was corny,
I defend that so much. I'm glad I have someone who opposed, because I think that when you spent all these years defending yourself using the Force, he was in there for 10 years or 8 years. How many was it?
Yeah, easily. 5, 10.
You've been there
10.
You've been there over. Oh, yeah.
All right, I got my answer. So for 10 years, he's been fighting a certain style. You think you should just give this guy a lightsaber and say, you'll pick up on it? No, he's at a beginner's level with a lightsaber all over again. He's way more familiar and more formidable if he's not using his lightsaber, using what he's been practicing over the last few years.
That's fact.
Yeah, okay.
But my issue is execution of it. Like, that's what I didn't like. Like, he's really just looking like this, doing like, it was like one move where he's kind of like this, like, and it's like looks weak. Like, I would like just some more type of strong type of moves when it comes to the Force moves. It just felt a little. It felt a little.
Bro, literally like Airbender.
I think it can. I think it can. Like, if when he gets serious, when the stakes get higher, I think he's probably going to pull out some features. But just like in that episode, the way they did it, it felt goofy.
Honestly, Scotty said it. He should have been moving like Aang.
He should have.
Like it should have been that flashy. It should have but I didn't dislike it though. I didn't dislike it. At some point, I do want to see him use a lightsaber again.
Yeah.
Right. I do want to see it because, like, well, you know, a lightsaber is like a Jedi's companion. You know, it's also another extension that they use to defend themselves. But I did like that he is very in tune with the Force.
How is he in tune with the Force? He's
I'll
met
Kenobi. I'll be honest,
he's met Yoda. Does he have the ability to talk to their Force ghosts? How does Force ghosts work? Do they not cross galaxies? Or once you're in the Force ghost, you can access anybody? What are the rules to this? Because Yoda should be able to approach him and say, let me talk to you.
We don't really know the rules.
Well, I mean, he only met Yoda once. No.
He saw a vision of him in the world between worlds.
Yeah,
we don't really know if that was Yoda or the world between worlds talking to him.
He met Obi-Wan for like maybe 2 minutes.
Yeah, he should have never met him. Just like Leia, they should have never met.
But I like how they did use him, and I think this actor so far, to me, out of all the actors, have really captured their character that they are playing. I'm still kind of on the fence with the actor for Sabine, even Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka. But this actor they got for Ezra, and I'm not sure if he did his voice in the TV show, but he's playing Ezra. Like this is Ezra from the TV show. A little older now, but spot on.
I needed better choreography for Ezra's Force Fu. Agreed.
Yeah. Would you rather have like lightsaber, or I would rather see Ezra do like some lightning from his hands? Like I would like to see like that type of like power in him, not being tapped into the dark side like Palps was, but like some different level type stuff from Ezra. That's what I would like.
More balanced.
Really, yeah, that's what I really would like to see.
I mean, we've even seen Grogu do force chokes and stuff. Like, yeah, open up a little bit, like show some offense. Yeah,
like if Thrawn's ship is getting away, like do a whole like lightning bolt. Like this is some crazy.
Just wanted to admire this amazing scene where we saw Clone Wars Anakin, you know, great scene. We're not talking about the arms here, guys, but great scene where Clone Wars Anakin showed up. And again, and I did want to say this seriously, it's not a complaint, and I don't think it's not like an issue for me. I didn't notice until this episode how short Ahsoka's lightsabers was.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not sure if anyone noticed it. They're really.
Wasn't one shorter?
She has one purposely.
Long?
Yep.
Yeah, like one. I thought they was both the same length.
Style.
But I noticed it was shorter than most lightsabers.
There was a moment where Ezra had Shin Hati's lightsaber up, and you could see that the orange was.
Yes.
You know, it was waving.
You could see it pushing against it. It was amazing.
Yeah, those ripples, man.
It looked like he could have put it out if he wanted to. Like, I mean, if he went harder, like
a candle. Yeah. Oh shit.
I love that. I like that they introduced something new, and I'm not asking myself questions of, wait a minute, the lore. There was this other movie where that didn't. I was good with it.
I think for Ezra, I think what they could have done was it probably would have affected the Force canon, but when you play the Force Unleashed right, you see the aura. Like when you do a Force push, you see it, and it's like a big shockwave. When you do, when you do Force pull, there's like an aura around the person. It's more for the game thing, but I think they could have like just made it a little bit more flashy, like show when Ezra does a Force push, like a shockwave that's greater than what we've seen from most. Because this is the first time we really seen somebody doing some Force food. Aside from Mace Windu in that Clone Wars TV show from back in the day.
And even like Shin does a force push that's more powerful than anything he does when he gets thrown against the side of the building. So I don't know what's going to open him up. Like
that got me too, because I was like, dude, if you've been really like in tune with the Force, if she pushes you, you should at least like land on your feet or some shit. Like,
yeah, you just got knocked out.
But I just think that he's just been out there like messing around with bandits and shit. Like he has not had any real threats like in years.
Shout out to Sabine, by the way, because her hand-to-hand combat over these last 2 episodes have been so slept on. They're like kind of Mando Denjar.
5-on-1, 6-on-1.
It's shout out to Sabine just for the fighting. I'm with you. I'm still not there for the acting, but the fighting, like.
Well, it was probably Ezra who killed off some of Thrawn's guards and stuff. Some of them obviously died from like, starvation and stuff.
Who's the white guy? not Dark Jedi, but like the
Balin.
Balin, yeah. So is he gonna die in the next episode?
Unknown.
Hmm.
We know the actor died. Is that where
know.
you're getting at?
Yeah.
So we're gonna have the recast conversation a second time. Let's just wait.
I have a feeling the characters. I have a feeling the character's not going to die. But like I said in another video, if it is planned from day one that this character was always going to die this season, I don't think a recast is necessary. But if the character is going to live, and if they plan to do Ahsoka season 2 and still focus around this era, this little Thrawn thing going on, you need to recast him. Because it's going to be kind of weird if like he just pops up, he does these big things with Thrawn, and then next season they're like, well, Balin, you know, he's on a journey to rediscover himself. Of course.
No, you can just have his son do the role now.
His daughter, Shin. His daughter, Shin.
Yeah, Shin could get a new...
I actually do think that Shin could be his daughter, and I kind of do hope that if there was a cliffhanger type of ending, they could somehow write it into like her story, because he's definitely on some bigger shit that any of us know about. I think it's primarily going to be connected to the Zepho, or like Dave Filoni is creating a new EU essentially, like. So we're gonna get a name drop, like they called the hyperspace thing the Eye of Darth Sion is from the EU. I just think Dave is tactfully going to hint at like the Yusong Vong or like some other threat outside our galaxy, because that's what we've all been waiting for. Is like, what the hell is out there?
Do you know who's in charge of the video game stuff with the Zephos?
Who's
the main story guy?
The writing,
because if it would be unprecedented for the video game people to be this in bed with the with Filoni, the creative guy.
You're not wrong. They've never done it before.
I think if they do potentially do recast, I think they should have the Gerard Butler, or maybe even it's the other guy that looks like Gerard. But I think they should get Gerard Butler if to continue Ray Stevenson's character.
Make him a little bit taller, as long as he got the beard.
Well, no, he's only 6. Well, I mean, I think somebody said the homie that plays Balin now isn't really all that tall, right? Like,
yeah, he's
kind of like the same height as Butler.
Okay,
he's 6'2", and I think Gerard can get the build, because the way Balin moves and fights, he fights like a medieval knight, right? And I think Gerard would be the perfect person to continue that type of thing going on.
Where do we go from here though? Like, just fandom wise, I've been having fun with Ahsoka, but like, do we go like right back downhill, like right back down to Star Wars hill?
What's next? Acolytes? What's after this? Andor?
Dude,
Acolytes. But I think Acolytes might be like a show that takes place even before.
Acolyte's gonna be fire, bro.
Okay.
Everything I've heard about Acolyte is gonna be fire.
So as a fan, I'm not interested in the Acolyte, the High Republic stuff. If it surprises me, great. I'm actually gonna watch it. Don't worry.
I think it's a little misconstrued about this show is the end of that shit. So it is not everyone who's like, I'm not into High Republic. It isn't gonna be that. It's the end of it. We're talking like maybe 100, maybe 80 years before Plagueis. So like if this show takes off, we could be leading into like how the dark side came back after the High Republic. Like this is what it's supposed to be leading into, is like the lead Leslie Headland, all the questions she's asking herself is, how did Palpatine and Maul and the dark side stay hidden? Like, how did they do it? How'd they pull it off? So
yeah, how do you pull off this dark stuff happening?
Isn't Skeleton Crew before Acolytes?
Who knows where I'm getting at? No. Well, we mean skeleton. We mean the Acolytes in the timeline happens hundreds of years. Hundreds of years before
Palpatine.
But I'm talking about dropping,
No, Skeleton Crew's coming later. I don't think that's up for another. Like Bad Batch is gonna come before Skeleton Crew comes. I was talking about Leslie Headland right now. I was trying to make a joke about how she was working for Harvey Weinstein, the dark side.
Oh, I forgot about that.
And she's wondering.
That is a big.
Yeah. I was just curious because it's like, where do you build off this show? Like, where do you build off of Ahsoka? The things that happen with Thrawn, without it running into the sequel trilogy. And when
you start talking shit,
like when you start talking about that, then it just goes downhill for me. It's like, damn, like I'm having fun now, but beyond this, like, how do I keep having fun?
That's why I'm like, whatever Balin is after, bro, has to open up a EU. It has to open up whatever is happening on that planet with the Night Sisters and where they're from. Like, it's got to be something big. I feel like.
Isn't Filoni doing the movie? Isn't Filoni doing the movie? Because I've read the people.
Yeah, it's all supposed to lead into it.
Okay, yeah.
So for Kendall, you're deep. Cole, say what you're gonna say, and I'll ask Kendall a question.
Oh, sorry, no, I was just saying, who did the wrote the Acolyte? I was just wondering.
Leslie Headland, right? She was the showrunner. Harvey Weinstein's personal.
Yeah, sorry, it's just my connection was going off, so I didn't hear that part. So I just wanted to.
No, she did Russian Dolls, which was highly.
I'm sure Harvey liked it too, and probably got her a job. To Kendall, the depressing moment of all of these stories linking with the sequel trilogy, which you're not a fan of, and that's fine if you're not a fan of it. Okay, how much can you let that depress you? Because we might get like 20 projects before we get to that sequel trilogy era.
How many years is between that? Like, to me,
25?
It's not like it doesn't add to me. It just doesn't add up to like come back into the sequel like to come back in before the sequel trilogy without it having like such an impact on it, right? I mean, I don't know. Could what Dave Filoni is doing is building up the sequel trilogy. Like, could we be getting like Luke's Academy? Could we be getting like things that show the downfall of the New Republic? Could that be what's happening? And if that's what's happening, I don't know how the fandom in itself. I think I might enjoy it, but I just don't know how the fandom of itself will take that. And my whole point is like, we can enjoy it, but like part of what's been good about Ahsoka is that the fandom is all on board with it.
Not everybody.
If we start getting for the most, like I can't think of a show that's
the usual suspects.
Yeah. So it's like, at what point does it start going downhill when people realize, like, hold up, like we're starting to really do the sequel stuff, and I don't know, man.
And that's been my shill awful take. Is like, I know it's a bad take because I don't know if it's actually going to ever happen, but how the prequels were saved by the animated Clone Wars show, I have been begging for Star Wars to create some kind of something that is going to connect the OT to this now in between and make it all nice for everybody.
Luke's Jedi Academy. Who's to say that there wasn't like 2 or 3 classes of Jedi who graduated before Kylo Ren Ben does everything he does over there? I think that you can do an animated show, have Mark Hamill voice his character too, and everyone's going to be happy. He's a skilled voice actor. You could do a lot. And then where were they all during the movies 7, 8, and 9? Oh, they were over in Peridia. They went back for some reason, and that's why we don't see them. And then after that, because stories will be told after movies 7, 8, 9, right? Stories will be told. And Kendall, you won't have that demoralizing inevitability anymore. You'll just have the endless future. So
that's why I got to ask other people, because it was just kind of something in my head. I was like, damn, like the fuck, like.
Okay, Cole is the most depressed. Cole is the most down, most what's the opposite of optimistic? Pessimistic. So, how do you feel towards this? Like,
me?
This whole Ahsoka, all roads lead to the trilogy that we don't like. How do you feel about this?
You mean the new trilogy?
I'm asking you about Ahsoka, the show. It's going to end. It's going to lead to a movie. It's also going to lead to more stuff, which eventually gets us to The Force Awakens, Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker.
The movies that are better than the prequel.
I like all the... God, no, but... Okay, I like all the Clone Wars and Ahsoka stuff and everything else. Once we get to the new one, we'll all back out.
Yep.
Damn. I don't think it's doom and gloom. I think we can enjoy some of these things here, the plot points here. It's not like I'm gonna never enjoy something Star Wars. But when you give me something like Acolyte, which happens all the way years prior, and who even knows if this gets picked up for a season 2, or especially with the way Disney Plus is now, they've kind of restructured the way they plan shows. Why even get invested into the Acolyte? Like, I hope they sell the toys, and I hope it does everything it needs to do, and yeah, like it fruits more and more. But if it doesn't, I also don't lose anything either.
I mean, you can like all the stuff in between you could enjoy because it's taking place around the era that's still the good stuff, right? But I'm there with Cole. Like once they lead up to the sequel stuff, I'm out.
And that's my problem. It's like that's what
I'm gone because when you got to sequels, like for me personally, that's when you disrespected the Luke and stuff. Like I'm sorry, I'm out. But I'm still like in stuff, Ahsoka stuff in between. I'll watch it up until then. Once they lead up to it, I'm gone. Officially, I'm gone.
Dave can only do what KK and friends allow him to do. Well, she sold her house in Burbank, so we know she's not. I know she's not lasting.
So was that the deal?
Oh, you mean
was that the deal that Filoni can do all these shows if only he can make KK look better with the sequel trilogy? Is that like the long 4D chess play here?
At all.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Well, I also real quick, also seen someone mention, and I don't kind of disagree with this because they're already doing it, and I feel like they're going to keep doing it. They're already using a CGI Leia. They're going to soon have a CGI Han. We're going to see a young Kylo at some point. And what they're introducing a whole new galaxy and whole new universe where you can have new lore going on at.
Yeah.
Honestly, they can kind of just redo the sequels again. Like
you mean they can do a trilogy of films that have nothing to do with the sequels? Or do you mean retcon?
They could easily do it.
Like retcon and redo that because they can just CGI Luke again.
Retcons are not happening, pal. Retcons don't.
It's Star Wars. They retcon all the time.
Still do a trilogy that's not connected.
Star Wars retcons all the time.
Not like that. They didn't ever erase retcons movies
every single day.
Yeah.
They're not going to retcon.
Sadly, there's too many babies who got brainwashed by Rian Johnson's shitty film, thinking it's actually good, so they're not going to do that.
I'm one of them, so yeah, I agree.
I'm not saying they have to. I'm not saying they're going to, but
I mean, you have a joke
with all this stuff they're doing.
8, 7, 9.
It's like you can kind of make amends and fix it, especially if they're CGIing the original, the OG characters.
Like how bad is the sequel trilogy to you guys? That it's like this icky.
It's not that bad. It's just the fandom of it, bro. Like you can't. It sucks the enjoyment out of it, and that's like when I asked this. I feel like I would enjoy seeing explanation as to why Luke went the way he went in Last Jedi. I would enjoy seeing why the High Republic, why the New Republic fell or whatever they're called now. Like I would enjoy seeing that, but I don't think if anything dealing with the sequels or anything touching the sequels, I don't think the fandom will be on board with it enough for me to not be able to have that enjoyment sucked out of these conversations that like we have. So like that's like part of my question is like not the quality, it's just the enjoyment that gets sucked out of the air because everybody on social media
as a fan of the sequels, I don't even like talking about it.
Look, I'll just this is just personally for me, and Chill knows this. There is nothing to me that they can do that can fix Luke. Nothing. Right? Because this is how I look at Luke at the end of his life. He died a coward. He died a coward. Couldn't even face his nephew like a man and tell him, I'm sorry. I was wrong. Blah blah blah.
What if he didn't die? What if he just turned into the Force because he ran out of battery?
He's a Force.
No, he's not a Force ghost. When Rey threw a lightsaber in the 9th movie and he caught it. Force ghosts can't touch the physical world and catch lightsabers, and so he's not. He's like a halfway.
You think they read the lore and everything?
Wait! Don't do that to me, Chill. No.
You can save the movies if you can try. They need to just leave.
You really think the creators of 7, 8, and 9 actually read the lore to realize that ghosts can't pick those up or grab them?
Nah, they didn't. But I'm gonna use that to my benefit.
Hey, Yoda got the lightning, man. You know.
I like what Wapo said because I would love for them to come back from the Beyond and them to be 50 years in the future, to be past the sequel trilogy.
That would be sweet.
Because it would make sense with space travel.
Yeah.
Space travel would make that add up because you're going for such a distance, time, light, all that shit. You're 50 years in the future.
Isn't the past what that High Republic is in the past?
It's right before it's before the prequel era, but it's right between Old Republic.
The High Republic ends 200 years before Darth Maul reveals himself.
Yeah.
So there's a 200-year gap where the High Republic ends and the dark side does not show itself. But then Qui-Gon discovers there is a dark side presence. It's hidden.
Jimmy.
We don't know about it. And the show, The Acolyte, is going to fill that in. It's going to tell us what the hell happened. It's going to tell us how the Jedi were so blinded, then they had no idea this was coming.
But is there any way it can tie into what Dave's doing? Like to what, like this, like
I think that will, but I think that can lead to like, dude, bro, young Palpatine. Y'all don't want to see a young Palpatine story?
I mean, that'll
like being trained by Palpatine and killing that man.
No.
Like,
that's the same offer as what
That's
the same offer as what we got
I'll
from
be
Kenobi.
honest, man. Look, look.
Matt Smith as young Plagueis.
No. Look.
No.
I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of done with Sidious, man. He pissed me off in 9. Why did he literally killed himself the same way Mace saw it? Like you dummy. He's like, yeah,
Strike me down again and again.
He's like,
and
I'm
again.
dying. Stop shooting lightning. You're dying.
Aside from laughing at it, Scotty, do you defend that? Do you like that? Do you think that's an issue also?
No, I think Rey is evil as shit now. I think she killed him, and that's what he wanted. I think he is in her now. I think she is the new dark side.
Oh.
Wow.
I mean,
and she's gonna
That's
team
the
up with
only
Jar
way
Jar.
you can write it that it makes sense, bro. I'm sorry.
But I'll agree. Matt Smith is not a bad casting at all. That's
No,
actually
Star
a
Wars-
casting for young
Star Wars
Palpatine.
has like pigeonholed themselves again and again and again. And it's because he literally said, strike me down and I'll become, like it's that whole balance shit. Even if it's not Palpatine, like the dark side's gonna rise again here in the future, and Rey or whoever is gonna have to deal with it. I don't know, like
Skull has something to say about that.
right. And for the record, I don't ever believe Dave is just gonna be like, oh yeah, Abeloth, Sith God, here she is. Like they're not gonna do that. It's going to probably be, I think it's going to be connected 100% to the Zepho. Whatever that video game storyline is telling, like that is what the fans are obsessed with. They did a little hint of it in the Bad Batch, which nobody's watching. And that big, like robotic, whatever, 4-legged ship got the head of a Zepho and everybody pointed it out. Like it's going to be Zepho in this finale. I think that's my final prediction.
Ooh.
What, that robot?
Yeah. Yep. That crystal.
Yeah, well, it'll probably be a better actor than Rey, so I'll take it.
No, we do not want to see a young Palpatine. They're going to botch it. Palpatine is better left as a mystery and an ultimate evil.
He ain't a mystery,
need...
though. They wrote a whole book about him.
There you go. Was it a canon book or was it prior to?
I mean, Plagueis is arguably a canon book for a lot of people. I'm not gonna say whether it is or isn't.
Oh, you asked Dave Filoni. Nothing is canon.
It's legends. It is. It's defined as legend.
Just Lord Plagueis the Wise.
At Eric, Cade and Sin could be the future of Star Wars. What's that? Is that like Tag and Bink? What's Cade and Sin?
Cade. I don't know who that character is.
Oh, should they do Tag and Bink? I want to hear a name drop of it. We sent reinforcements. Mon Mothma, who did you send? Tag and Bink. No, I want to hear some. You guys know who those characters are, right? From the comics?
No.
Oh, you guys are not Star Wars fans. Get out of here.
I'm admittedly not.
I always
OT, nah.
There's these comic book characters called Tag and Bink. Just put it in YouTube, Tag and Bink, and
Like,
if I've said it enough times, hopefully you'll remember it. Tag and Bink, and you can watch their little their story. There's an Ahsoka poll that I put up. Get your votes in because I'm about to close it on whether you enjoyed the episode or not. 90% so far say yes, they enjoyed it.
Skywalker.
What'd you say about Skywalker?
No, DC Steve's will say Cade Skywalker. I'm guessing that's the character's full name. Never heard of Cade Skywalker.
Extended universe. And Jariah Sin.
Yeah.
What are they, a couple?
They're the twins. They're raised twins, right? That she's gonna have.
I think.
Because she got pregnant by Kylo Ren. So those are the twins that Rey's gonna have.
She really did. He put that force skill right there. Again, the sequel trilogy and what they did, the first couple movies happen in such a short time. It's all in the same week. Doesn't really involve the whole galaxy, aside from Hosnian Prime being blown up. But Hosnian Prime is not Coruscant, okay? We could get past the movie, the first two. What happens in the third movie? There's like a year time period in between Whereas, so the First Order and their reign has been affecting the entire galaxy. But so long as what I watch doesn't take place in that year, I can enjoy Star Wars without that dwelling on top of me. I'm good. Star Wars Legacy.
You know what though? Those sequels are still better than the prequels.
You've said that. Yes, we get it.
Just making sure.
Mike, your prequel slam needs to stop. Just another comment. I love the way Ahsoka Tano was aggressively looking at me this whole episode during this scene.
You got it, dog.
Look. Let me appreciate a beautiful woman behind some beautiful makeup.
You watch too much. You watch way too much of that parody stuff. I think.
But
Jesus.
did anybody else notice they cut off Hera's booty? Like from that, like it was like one ass shot scene that they had. It was like,
changed it. He went back to rewatching them.
Yeah, I went back to rewatch it, and it was like the shot was like
where she's sitting on the thing.
Yeah, when she's talking at the Senate, and it's like they show the back shot, and it's not like low enough to see the ass. It's just like right up there at the top of the hip.
Dog, the way that we talk about asses and stuff, like I can't do it. I can't talk about this without censoring myself and double thinking about what I should say and what I shouldn't say.
There's nothing wrong with admiring beautiful women in Star Wars.
But why is it on screen this much?
Yeah, well, why aren't you admiring
why is it Obi-Wan's wife?
We only only been like a minute since we had this conversation so far.
Well, what about the males?
I literally dropped Peaches in the chat like 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Peaches and Sabers, episode 8.
But shouts out. Look, I will always give Star Wars credit for this. Shouts to them with these prosthetics and stuff, and just bringing these alien creatures to life. DC, that's what you should have done with Starfire and Titans. I don't know why y'all couldn't do it. Cheap as heck, man. But
you got somebody in orange makeup and they don't look like a Oompa Loompa.
Right, like it looks so good. It's Lucasfilm. They're wonderful
too.
Prosthetics.
You guys, are you upset if Thrawn's not as blue as he should be?
He just looks like Elon Musk. I can get
like
past
that.
it. He does look like Elon Musk.
He does.
They even do a good job with the gobble neck, like with the turkey neck thing. Like the turkey neck even looks
You gotta shade the turkey neck.
Let's close out with one last topic. It's Captain Marvel 2. The trailer's out, a couple of posters that are out. The movie's coming in November. There is an actor strike which will wrap up, which may result in them actually promoting a movie, and who knows if that affects its box office. I put up my projection already. If you're a member, you can see the video. I'm going to go around here. You guys, what do you think this movie will make? The first movie made $1.1 billion United States dollars. I didn't need to clarify that, did I? No. No one's listening. All right. Tough crowd. So one. Yes, that's right.
said it
So
right.
the second film will be how much? Let's start with Scotty.
Half that.
Is that 6? No, my math would say 550.
Half that.
550.
I didn't realize how big the international.
I don't think that.
It's kind of mind blowing.
No.
Yeah, that's how they've been though. Marvel movies and all these big action films translate well. Cole tells me this all the time.
The last poster I saw though.
The reason I say that, and I'm looking at, the countries that it's playing in, that does not really, look at
China,
women,
Saudi Arabia.
that look at women in a certain way that's kind of respectful in a sense. I'm kind of shocked that majority of the money came from international for Captain Marvel, and that's not me trying to take a dish at the movie. It's just I'm thoroughly kind of shocked.
Is it the power of feminism in Europe? I don't know. Throwing that out.
Europe is West, so they're kind of on our way of thinking for the most part. Western thinking.
So Brie Larson is the devil. Like, what do you mean Western thinking?
No. Like those European countries still, they kind of think like us, like people in America and stuff when it comes to this type of stuff. Like we're more open to watching this type of stuff, like Captain Marvel and stuff. But
they can watch
other countries, and I'm shocked that majority of it came from international like that.
Thank Jennifer Lawrence for all that.
Oh yeah, I forgot she is the first
Kim
actor.
Jong-un.
Yep.
Crazy. My prediction is pain. Kill me. DC said that Star Wars Squadrons Hera looks way better than this show, in my opinion. Okay.
Star Wars Squadrons here.
300 million?
That's way too low.
It will do Ant-Man 3 numbers. That's low too, because that Ant-Man 3 only made 480 million roughly. So
I thought the floor. I was thinking the floor is 600 and the max is 750.
Yeah.
Well, I would say the max is like 800 because I was going to
show the whole movie in the trailer.
But I think like the high, if it's good and people go like gets word of mouth, 800. But the floor to me is like 600.
It'll still be in the movies during the Christmas season. That's important.
I don't think that matters for this though.
You don't think so?
Go.
It'll be on week 8, week 9.
Yeah.
Hey, let me hear yours, Cole. Was this gonna be 300 million, or are you gonna say what Kendall said? The floor is 600. Where you got it?
Well, now that Dune isn't released, and I think it'll make a little bit more, maybe like 500. Maybe.
Good
I don't know.
point. You're right. No competition. It gets the IMAX screens. I can see it making 600. Excuse me.
Yeah. So are they calling it like Captain America 2 in other places because they might be confused by the Marvel's name, but that's easier and with the money it made. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, that's happening. They're calling it Captain Marvel 2 in the Chinese poster.
Wait, for real?
The Chinese poster is fire too. I don't know.
Wait, really?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it says Marvels too.
I'll pull it up for you, okay? You see that?
Wow.
There?
Yeah. We're about to run to Harley Quinn. Wait. Oh, yeah, we're about to run to a Harley Quinn and Birds of Prey situation. They should do a Captain Marvel 2 all around, or Captain Marvel.
I love Rosalex's reply.
He says, so they fixed it. Good.
Yeah, I don't know why they're calling it the Marvels in domestic areas, but Captain Marvel 2 that doesn't make any sense.
That just shows you how much leeway that these domestic marketings they get. They control so much. Then when we think about people being squeezed down there in these posters, like Finn, like when Black Panther has his face covered and we don't see T'Challa.
Yeah.
It's Disney, Marvel, these guys are not in control. It's the guys who live in China who are naming the titles.
Yeah, you know what? Props to them for one thing, though. They didn't have that one guy on the poster.
Say that again. Repeat that.
They didn't have that one guy on the poster. Oh, I lagged. Yeah, they didn't have the one guy with the allegations on the poster.
Majors?
Oh, Jonathan Majors.
Yeah, he ain't in the movie though.
No,
I think he's in the post credit. I think they say this has a lot to do with all the future.
Yeah, well, I don't want to say too much.
Yeah, we shouldn't say.
They haven't actually revealed any of that.
Yeah.
No, they haven't revealed it. I'm just going off of things I hear, so I could be wrong. You know how they change
put him
things.
on a poster because
was it Miss Marvel's father or whatever character on the poster, and some of them in America?
Oh, him, Muammar Kapoor. What's his name, Kata?
Yeah.
You know his name.
Who?
The
guy who's in trouble. Yeah, Mohan Kapoor.
He is not in trouble. There is an allegation out against him about him sending a photo of his privates. Now, if he actually did that, all you got to do is show the cops it, and they go, "Oh yeah, that is his phone number. We can, trace the phone and figure things out." And since he hasn't been arrested yet, and since he hasn't gone to jail, it's just an allegation. We got to treat it that way.
Nah, he's guilty as charged. Already arrest him for 50 years.
I'm still just frustrated that nobody's keeping the same energy with his allegations like they're doing somebody else. It also works for the same studio.
Well, he ain't been arrested.
Oh, Jonathan Majors was doomed to be a topic here. All right, guys, listen.
No, I'm not trying to make it, but I'm so frustrated.
We went so long without mentioning his name.
Oh, also the other guy. Let's not forget Namor.
The Kukulkan.
Kukulkan is in trouble.
Tena Huerta had a girlfriend break up with him and say he's bad and he's abusive.
Had a girlfriend that looked like her boyfriend.
No comment. But this woman, this allegation, it did not go to the police. Majors got arrested, and we got the headlines that he strangled the woman because that's what the cops coached the woman to say. Her name was Stephanie, actually, the woman. So because of that strangulation headline, everything that was the huge deal, even though they're not actually charging him for strangulation anymore. and they're going to a night prior to see if he twisted her arm or something. And I'm sure when we watch that video of the cab, we'll see that he actually does have his palm touching her forearm, but you have to imagine that he's twisting it and ripping it and everything, because that's
he's using his superpowers, the Force. All right, you just can't see it.
Yeah. The sad thing is that the case that they have on him wouldn't, with these new charges about him twisting her arm, throwing her in the back of the car, they wouldn't say these and claim these things if Jonathan Major's side didn't present this to the DA and say, look, you can drop the charges. He actually doesn't assault her here. She's the aggressor. Here, look at this video. This is what happens in the back of that limousine, okay? In the back of that Cadillac Escalade, here's the footage. The DA said, okay, we'll take that and we'll try to match what happens in the video. We'll milk that his putting his hands on that woman. We'll say that he squeezed it with all his might, and we'll say this and that. And that's where we are now. Jonathan Major's topic over. Back to Captain Marvel 2. Did everyone get their projection out there? Because D Steezel says 450 to 500. That's super low. K-Dot, what you got?
I'm there.
All right. So I got 2 predictions, right? One is coming from my bias as a DCU.
Say it. No, you're about to say MCU.
And then I'm taking out my bias.
All right.
As a DCU supporter, I want this film to make negative $1 billion. Negative, right? But as a regular individual that likes movies, I'm gonna say between 400 to 650. That's the highest I'm going. And it's not because, like Freak Marvel and stuff. It's just we're noticing a trend, right? Guardians 3 is the only thing from Phase 5 so far that has been a success, but that's because Guardians is a well-liked franchise that the world loves. And it was like, yo, this James Gunn last run. Let's go ahead and support it. Ant-Man 3 kind of started off funky for Phase 5, real funky. It's the lowest grossing Phase beginning film.
Mm-hmm.
I think Captain Marvel 2 might be one of those movies that might take it because it's coming out in November like they did Black Panther 2. And it's just kind of weird.
Black Panther 2 made 800 million.
And it's just because I even said this for Black Panther 2. Like, why didn't you release that movie during Black History Month? And why are you not releasing this movie during Women's History Month? Like, they're not capitalizing as they should, and on these certain months with these type of films they're doing. Like, just honestly, I think they should possibly push it back to Women's Month.
They just be too in their head because they think we complain about it. Like if they did Black Panther on February, they probably scared that we'd be like, oh, y'all gotta do it on Black History Month. Like part of why they did this thing with T'Challa, they just be too much and overthinking this shit of not to offend people and not to have like calls.
Oh yeah.
First one came out during Black History Month.
Yeah.
I would say that was probably the best time to capitalize on Black Panther because everybody's feeling prideful that month, about being black. That's a perfect time to get them. And sometimes Black History Month kind of just disappears the rest of the month.
That was a different time too, though, because it's like at that time it was acceptable, but now at this point, people are kind of like quick to go on companies to be like, "You're trying to pander to this type of thing here." So I don't think it was like that type of thing.
Yeah,
like
2020 changed. You're right. Things changed at 2020 when we saw all of these statements about how they're going to be more forward, and the studios and everyone who made a promise. I remember Cops was a show that said, we apologize because Cops has been manipulative, and then all of a sudden they're back on the air, right? Black Panther 2 also spent a lot of money to make and market. How much did Disney make off that film? I don't know. The budget for this film is supposed to be like 270 right now for Captain Marvel 2. 274 is what they say on Forbes, which is super high. It's the third highest outside of Infinity War Endgame. There's another movie maybe, but it's the third highest.
I was going to say it's going to take 435 million to break even for this movie.
435.
That's what I read from somebody I trust on Twitter when it comes to these numbers.
Yeah, would you say 1.3? I'm definitely going with half that, about 6.
It's also the first MCU film with the shortest runtime.
Mm-hmm. Which may not be possible. Loki, if Loki slaps, like if Loki like does what Ahsoka did for Star Wars, then Loki could boost that up.
That's true. That's
like,
true.
It could give it the boost. Like we could get some momentum. And then
That
plus, if what goes down in there really goes down, like with the whole overarching plot, like that, then it could become homework for other fans. So
True.
like what they could be is like one for it to be homework and two for people to ride the Loki hype. Those two things could come into play.
But... And from what I've heard, not to spoil too much, but like the cliffhanger at the end of this film is like huge implications into like the incursions and all that other stuff. So that's like everybody wanting to go to a movie because like, oh, Spider-Man's gonna cameo in it.
Third thing working in favor is the strikes are over and we get Kamala. We get Iman Vellani on the press tour. Iman Vellani on the press tour.
The actor strike is still going.
Yeah, and
writer strike is done.
Tiana Paris. Like when we get those on the press tour, like I'm hyped to see come out of it.
Yeah, actor strike should be done, which is going to result in a better performance. It's a good. What are we talking about? We're just talking about Captain Marvel.
Did they give an estimated time on when the actor strike is going to be done?
No, but they're next. If they negotiate with the writers, you know that they're in the negotiating mood. So I think that within the month they'll be done negotiating.
Let's see.
Yeah, Mike.
I was assuming, but you're right.
Did Mike pass out?
Michael, Rogue Comics in the building.
He passed out. Oh no.
It's all good. As far as the movie, what I want to enjoy from it, I don't know. It's going to be 3 characters getting to know each other. Where are we going with these characters? What is the long-term plan? There isn't one. We know that's not the case.
That is bold, William.
We know they're reshuffling things. What did William say? Captain Marvel 2 will make at least 750. At least 750. All right. Who knows, bro? Like, it's a female movie. The first female movie made $1 billion.
Bro, the villain's power set is she wears a bangle just like Kamala. We've seen that like 12 goddamn times now.
I'm kind of interested how many fans there are.
Yo, women. I'm gonna say a thing. Women, you ain't pushing the dollars at Marvel. Sorry.
No, you're not. Not in most movies. No,
women are not going out to see this movie.
You're right.
With their boyfriend.
You're wrong by their boyfriends and their family.
Yep. If you're talking about other movies, sure, but this is the one. This is the female movie.
Women are going out to see Brie Larson. No.
Yeah, they loved that scene where
we can't forget that the biggest boost for Captain Marvel was Endgame. It was sandwiched right between Infinity War and Endgame. That was the biggest boost to that. So
I mean, do you think a lot of families they're gonna get a boost from them though with being fans of Miss Marvel after watching the show?
Maybe. But it's not called Ms. Marvel, it's called The Marvels, which is a stupid title.
Yeah.
600 tops.
See, then Eric goes down to 250.
I'm telling you, I won't be surprised if this shit is worse than Flash. Y'all are thinking
you're right.
You're thinking it's a joke, but
it could be.
Wait till week 1. Wait till Thursday night premiere, bro.
Oh God, you might be right, bro.
Ain't nobody going to see that shit on Friday.
You might be right.
Yeah, because I'm gonna have to agree. Because okay, the
wait till the leaks come out.
That whole women pulling up to this stuff.
Barbie.
Okay. Let me be honest about Barbie. I
look at him in the pink.
Let me be honest about it. I've seen Barbie twice, but we know Barbie appealed to a specific demographic. And this is what I saw in the theaters. I'll be honest with you. Females, homosexual males, for sure. There was a lot in theater. It's
how do you know they were homosexual?
I say San Francisco. I would know. But mind you, when I went to my theater for Barbie,
the way he just dug himself out of that hole right now, that was amazing. You're in San Francisco. You know,
if you seen what I seen, you would know what's up. But it was packed to the brim with a certain demographic, right? But that's Barbie. That's different. Like Captain Marvel, people didn't grow up with Captain Marvel like they did Barbie. You also have to factor that in too. These girls that went to watch it grew up playing it, growing up, playing with it, trying to be like Barbie and stuff. Right? That's not the same with Captain Marvel. Like the movie came out at a time where it's close to Wonder Woman 2017, which came out at a certain time where women was like, yo, let's go support this. Around the era of Me Too, all that and stuff. this film, I don't think it's going to do anything close to no Barbie numbers. I don't think it's going to have the same hype as Barbie. And Barbie actually has a successful marketing campaign doing the Barbenheimer. This film doesn't have that. And Barbenheimer even helped out Oppenheimer. It's literally over 900 million now. So chill. I'm not trying to I'm being
nothing
real
in favor of this film.
I'm being I'm not trying to destroy your queen.
I'm good.
But I'll support for Iman because she Iman over Feige. She needs to take his job, and I'm just going to go support Monica.
But what's crazy is like Imani she's going to be the star of the whole movie. Like,
oh yeah, she is.
Can we just get a scene of Monica doing the same thing that Ahsoka did in episode 7? Like just a whole scene.
Training.
3-minute training.
We need a training sequence. You know, they need to prepare themselves for the final fight. Training
slow mo.
Let me see that. Let me see the body go binary off of that type of shit.
But I'll say this: I don't like that they changed Kamala's suit. I think the new suit is too baggy.
You gotta sell new toys. I'm not telling you something you don't know.
I mean, I like the director sort of. I've watched her other films. I don't like the writing in them, but I think her camera work is great. So I think that will be good.
Didn't Nia do the recent Candyman movie?
Yeah. And she also did this other one, and the writing in each is but the directing is good, really good.
How much did Venom 2 make?
800.
Okay, because
I'm guessing
what we're hearing about the post-credit scene and the things that go down in this movie, to me, is the same effect of why people went to go see Venom, which was because of that post-credit scene in Venom. A lot of people went to go see Venom just for that post-credit scene.
But how many million is that? Like people in our circle aren't that. We're not everybody.
The sweats, yeah.
Well, it's also factored in. It's also Spider-Man because a lot of casual people went to just go watch No Way Home for Toby and Andrew. Even though they showed up near the tail end, they went there for Toby and Andrew.
True.
Yeah, they probably care less about Tom Holland. Like, man, freak Tom. I'm about to go see my hero, Toby and Andrew.
The MCU isn't fun anymore. That is why it won't do well. You're right. The momentum is really down. What is there to look forward to anymore? Women are not feeling Carol like that.
Look.
Men aren't feeling Carol either.
This is what they for sure have. Marvel still has for sure guaranteed in the bag. When the Avengers movie comes out, that movie's doing billions, regardless of anything. Because even if the story may not be good, the amount of characters we're going to see up in Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, I'm sorry, that's going to bring out too many people. Too many people are going to flock to that. Individual movies, I'm kind of like, okay, this is going to be a case-by-case thing for now. But the Avengers movies are safe, in my opinion.
I'm sorry. You hope fans don't get weird with Monica and Carol? Listen, pal, people are taking sides.
Where you been? Yeah, where you been at?
There's even a rumor that the actress... Remember how they said that Teyonah Parris got mad because Brie Larson wanted not to share her movie and they got in a fight? Remember that?
Team Tiana over here, bro. I would really love for Carol to die in this movie, to be honest with you. And like you really have Kamala and Monica left. I would love for
that. You want her to be Photon, or you want to change her name to Captain Marvel?
She would take the mantle.
They should do a scene where Thanos comes back from the dead and punches her with the Power Stone again.
You guys are crazy. Also, white brothers have caught on to Marvel's gaslighting tactics finally.
That's why the movie is 1 minute and 35 seconds, though, however short it is, because they cut out a whole bunch of that. It was going to be She-Hulk fest, but they cut out a lot of.
That's possible.
You might not be wrong. You might not be wrong.
Well, let me ask a question, because me and Chill talked about this a while back on the stream. Not trying to make it that, but he'll know what I'm referring to. Up until a certain person got more control, the climate of how the movies have changed. Like you go from Iron Man to middle of phase 3, say when it started, but really phase 4. There's a different type of politics associated with both those eras, and it brought in different type of people. And when
Victoria Alonso was canned,
And I don't know. I feel like a bunch of their core people have kind of left, not just because they changed the politics of the stuff, but like even the core people that would continuously go to this stuff is like dwindling out.
Yeah,
it's not saying they're going to be gone forever, because same thing's happening with DC and stuff. Like it's even losing its audience, and they just got to do something different. They got to mix it up. They got to, let's say, for example, do some villain movies, or do more anti-hero movies, or like just you got to do something different to get people back in, because now people have caught on. It took 10 years, but now people caught on. You gotta redo it. You gotta redo the.
I've been saying that for years.
Can I give you an essential? Oh, my bad.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I'll give you like an essential stretch of what I think is coming up from Marvel for that different is Deadpool 3, Thunderbolts, and then Daredevil. That's gonna be on Disney Plus. If those three are like, because they're male centric, like they're taking out Yelena's male big role out of Thunderbolts and making that more about Bucky and making that more about.
Really? They didn't like her nude in Oppenheimer.
So like it's
well Bucky's running the team.
Yeah, so to me, it's like if they're really turning the corner, and you think about what Bob Iger said about how they've been conflating politics and stuff, and then their movies, how that's going to change. If those two movies in the show can like get us back on track to what you're saying, like with the Iron Man at the first phase and kind of that messaging thing there, I think that could change for Marvel and get people back on the right path.
Well, when I talked about the politics, because if you look at Iron Man to some parts of Phase 3, it had a very conservative take on politics and stuff. And then it got a little bit more left-leaning between Phase 4 to now. Not saying either take is bad.
Bro, let's stop using politics and dancing around and saying agenda, ideology. Let's just talk about a pro-women's involvement. Let's be more specific with it, because we are talking about women's roles in movies, right? We're not talking about politics. We're not talking about Republican, Democrat. We're literally talking about themes that include females, right? Let's just say that. And the female agenda. Let's be specific. That's what we're talking about here. That's gone.
Where I've always said that Marvel has got the easiest route. They're just literally copying the comics. What are we getting next? We're getting Young Avengers. What did we get after we got the first Avengers in the comics? Young Avengers. What did we get after we got the first Avengers in the comics? All the female iterations of the heroes we love. Like,
yes,
history repeating itself. So Marvel, until they change tactics, or maybe this new X-Men, like, Feige will never do it. I'd love Feige to do his own X-Men, new origins, new mutants, new everything. Don't give me a Wolverine I've seen 1,200 times with the blades. Like, they'll never do something like that. They'll never step outside of their comic safe zone. Like, they got a safe zone. That's why I champion Star Wars so much. Star Wars at least had the audacity and the courage to tell you everything is Legends now. We're going to do our own shit. We're not basing all our stories off of pre-written comics and stuff. So DC, for whatever, y'all, they're just basing everything off comics. Just copy and paste with a little bit of change here and there.
Just a little bit.
And
there's not making a Captain America 4. He's on the moon or something like that.
Oh yeah, Falcon 1. But see, I think what they should do is, it's not to say that I still need to see more. Well, I've seen enough. I think they need to do a refresh on who's running these movies. I think it's time to bring in somebody new. Feige has ran his course. He had a good 10 years. Well, he had a good 10 years where he was also tamed. Because we have to remember Ike Perlmutter.
Yeah, I remember.
And him was like butting.
He had a good 10 years. He had a good 10 years and then a rocky 5 years.
Yeah, let's get in Kathleen Kennedy. She'll fix it.
I don't know. I mean, look, we in 5 years deep, and it's kind of like we're getting closer to the next 10.
Can I ask you though? What were your favorite Phase 5 or Phase 4 and 5 projects, if any? Like, what were some of the
Spider-Man?
Mine's was Shang-Chi, No Way Home, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and
Falcon. Yeah, I got those same three.
From what I understand,
Falcon, Winter Soldier, and Doctor Strange too.
from what I understand, at least for me, and like those are my list, Feige was the closest to those movies. But movies like Eternals, hands up, let Chloe Zhao do her thing. She-Hulk, backed off, let her do her thing. Like these movies where Feige doesn't have his hand really in it is where like it falls off on the most part. So like I'm not a Nate Moore fan. I'm not a Victoria Alonso fan. I think if he wants to have his hands off, he needs to go with a better camp of people there. But I still think Feige has a good pulse on what people want to get.
You know what I think? I think Jessica Gal has some information on Feige to have him back off so much because because look, I am trusting that Feige because he obviously hires people to cast these people, right? It's not like he's doing everything. You hire people below you to do the things that you want them to do, so you can kind of stay high up and
the things that don't matter. The things like She-Hulk that don't really matter at all. You let somebody else handle it.
But it's like Jessica Gal came out in an interview, literally saying, "Well, we don't have really experience writing a like law firm show, so I hope it's good." It's like, dude, like why would you let her even say that in an interview and let them publish that? This is Feige should have been in there like, "Yo, scrub this interview." Like,
they're high off the smell of their own farts at that point. Like, and I think it's part of
people say that.
What? Yeah,
I've never heard that before. High off the smell of your own farts.
It's an American saying.
Yeah, it's just another phrase for pretentious.
Yeah.
Oh, you've heard it too, Cole.
Yeah, I heard it in videos.
Yeah, I mean, imagine farting and being like.
Yeah, I mean, have you heard the phrase like jerking yourself off or something? It's like
circle jerking when people are all making them.
But long story short, that's what that comes from. Is that like they felt like they could put out 8 projects in a year and nobody would get bored. Like like we need the story to stay focused. We need Feige on everything in my mind. But I think they're getting back to that because some things have been getting scrapped. They realize Echo is going to be a loss. Like they understand where they're at. And that to me is the most important thing. If they were still moving around like one shit wrong, I'll be more concerned. But they understand where they're at. It seems like Iger knows where they're at. Like
it's going to take years though. But some of these projects are in the works, like the Wonder Man thing and the Vision Quest, I think, or Agatha House of Darkness. That's already booked. It's already filmed. Like the next couple years are going to be so. We'll get some gems, Deadpool, but we're going to have to suffer through some things that are inconsequential and are just Disney Plus filler.
You got,
if you ask me,
Ironheart, Agatha.
What is Ironheart going to do?
Well,
and I like the character. I just mean to say,
Ironheart's going to be fire and it's going to introduce Mephisto.
And they're supposed to be reworking it to make it more like Don Cheadle's movie, Armor Wars. They're supposed to be reworking it to make it more tied into that.
Oh, you still think that's not going to be Robert Downey Jr. returning?
I think he's gonna be in it as AI or something like that. Like
I think he gets resurrected after Secret Wars, and the next movie is Armor Wars.
Well, Armor Wars comes out before Secret Wars. So.
I thought they changed it. Tony's going to show up as an AI that's able to like physically touch stuff. He's gonna walk up the road and go like, "You got the juice now." That's off his helmet.
AI Tony, just like the comic books had when Riri needed assistance. Riri had an AI that he sent over to her, and it was himself, Tony himself.
Yeah.
When is Blade releasing? Yeah, never.
They haven't even started filming. They're not even done with the script.
Yeah. The writer's strike got in the way of that.
Happy.
Yeah, they're not done with the script yet.
That shit.
No, I'm very demoralized over Marvel. Last comment, Eric was saying something about the X-Men without actual X-Men. Did you mean that you would do an X-Men Scotty without Wolverine Scotty?
No, I'm saying like anyone who read Hickman's run of the X-Men and the Krakoa storyline, like that is not any of the origins from the cartoons, and people loved it. Like I want Feige to do that again.
Yeah.
Give me a Wolverine that doesn't have the blades. Like do Animanium, but give him something different. Like whatever. I don't know. I
think it's too iconic. Those 3 snicks are too. You can't do it.
Do you think that's too big of a risk right now?
The Avengers, so he's not gonna do it with the X-Men. But I'm saying, like, give me something new, man. It's copy pasta.
Would you rather see X-23?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. She was in
and no Logan?
You can't do X-23.
No, not without Logan. I'm just saying, like,
like
do something new. Do something new. Am I gonna be satisfied if we get a third telling of live action X-Men shit? I don't know. Am I gonna be happy with a Wolverine that's not Hugh Jackman? I don't know.
Well,
like,
okay, wait, because I have a feeling. I have a feeling they're going to do this, especially if we see Wolverine and these X-Men movies coming out. I said we're going to see him in all of them. Hope I'm wrong, but I feel like we're going to be fighting a lot of possibly robotic villains, because if they're not, because I feel like they're not going to do a R Wolverine. Like, let him literally.
You're right. They will not have an R-rated Wolverine. Deadpool's not going to be rated R. Don't expect
Deadpool 3 is, for some reason, is rated R. But when we see him in X-Men movies, and I think they're going to adjust villains around him, because, you know, when you're going to have fight scenes with Wolverine and X-Men, and they're going to do a lot of cutaways. Wolverine is going to, like, kind of fight how he does in the cartoons, where he doesn't really cut things. He kind of, like,
they cut away.
So, like, Kang bots? I mean, because
I feel like a lot of I have a feeling the X-Men villains we're going to be seeing are going to be based around, like, maybe something mechanical, or technically not even people that bleed.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I get your point. It'll be kid friendly.
Well, I'm not saying kid friendly, but I'm not saying kid friendly.
I just want to add to Scotty's point. I did see that they're not going to. Apparently, the Wolverine is not supposed to be, like, on the X-Men in this reboot of the new X-Men.
Then he'll get his own movie or his own Disney Plus.
Yeah, I don't think. I think Hugh Jackman is going to be the only Wolverine that we see really stay as Wolverine until they reboot the entire MCU.
He'll do the James Gunn, eh? The James.
I don't know. I don't think he'll survive the reboot. I just think, like, he's gonna. I just think he's gonna be the Wolverine until we get up to whatever's after Secret Wars.
I mean, if they do keep him, it does make sense that Jackman, if they did want to keep him, because Logan, he's not really a young guy when he joins. He's not young at all. He's been alive for years, but he doesn't look like a young dude when he joins the X-Men. He's, like, experienced and stuff, a lot more experienced than those mutants. So it kind of makes sense to keep Jackman.
MCU has all been new. They used the comics as a foundation, but none of the stories were like the comic book counterparts. Studio ignores their own source material. Everything's expensive fanfic nowadays. Those are two different takes on the same thing. I just want them to allow Scott to be a character and not just, you're talking about Cyclops? Wimp that gets pushed around by Logan. We need Danny DeVito as Wolf. Shut up. I'm about ready to end this stream. Mike, a wellness check, sir?
He's dreaming about, T'Challa's kid.
Everyone check out Rogue Comics. Next is King Kunch, who's got a channel. Plug yourself, sir.
I'm over here at the Nerds Underground. We stream every Thursday and Wednesday over there at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Holla at me.
Cole, can we holla at you?
Oh, yeah, you can just find me on other streams, I guess, like this, and K-Dots and other people, I guess. Might do some stuff in the future as well. My own.
K-Dot?
Just dropped a new video about Sonic Frontiers. Y'all go check that out.
And Scotty.
Yeah, man, I'm hardcore extraction video games. I'll try to do live streams as often as I can, but I've been doing a lot of Star Wars, like, meme type shorts that are popping off. So.
Yeah, they're legitimately funny too.
Hey, I appreciate the feedback, man. People seem to like it, so we'll keep going. See what happens.
And I'm me. You know me. I'm out of here like Vladimir. Oh, one last comment that just snuck in. One last comment. He says, what kind of games?
Hardcore extraction. So Escape from Tarkov, Dark and Darker. You got to subscribe to see it.
You got to subscribe to see it.
There is no genre like it. Honestly, it's kind of crazy.
At 2 hours and 50 minutes, we end this live stream. Thank you for joining. If you were here for the whole thing, I appreciate you. Bye.